Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ASL Season 19. We're here for the round of 4. It has begun. Best versus light today is going to be an absolute banger matchup. Thank you guys for dropping by for the live stream. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. You guys here on Soup Live have a special opportunity here today. There is a raffle or an event going on right now hosted by Soup. They're giving away ASL jackets, 2 of them. And you guys could enter to win just by gifting 50 gems or a single gifted sub. You will be entered to win one of these beautiful jackets you can see Best wearing on screen right now. And you can enter as many times as you want. So if you donate 100 gems or 2 gifted subs, that's 2 entries. You just need to gift them here to SCTVEN. Very difficult to get these jackets, guys. They're very highly prized in Korea, and I don't believe they ship abroad, so it's very difficult to get just through normal channels. That's why it's a very special event here for this SCTVN channel.
It really is, Saiyan. I can't even believe they're going to allow you guys to have a chance at getting one of these. And guys, there might be some of you thinking, you know, I'm a bigger dude, probably won't even fit me because of these smaller Korean guys. Doesn't matter. Hang that on your wall. It's like, it's such a crazy opportunity. Like, there's not that many available in the world. I can imagine, like, just the scalping price of that alone is somewhere between $500 and $1,000 easy on something like eBay. It's just no one can really get their hands on these, and everyone kind of wants one. So extremely high demand and very low supply. So make the most of it and try and get your hands on it if you can, guys.
Oh, I would love so much to bring one of these jackets to the ASL, be there live, and get some of my favorite players to sign the sleeves. That would be amazing. Oh my gosh, what a collector's item.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Can you imagine? That'd be so sick.
There's a niche audience here, guys. Those of us who love Brood War, we truly love it. We want to see it continue for many, many years into the future, but this is a one-time opportunity here, guys. I'm not sure if we're going to have these an event like this again. This is the first time I've ever heard about something like this, a giveaway like this. Have you heard about something like this before, Xun?
No. I mean, you used to be able to get hold of these like team shirts back in the day during the Kesper era. They're a little bit more accessible to the foreign crowd, and especially if you went over to Korea, you could get your hands on this kind of merch. But as it stands in recent times, post Kesper era, it's been so hard to get hold of anything that's coming out of the ASL. And anyone that does somehow get their hands on it, you're kind of like eyes bulging. How did you even do that? What connections have you got?
That's right, Xun. And guys, if you're watching this on YouTube now and you feel like you're missing out, don't worry. We're going to be back again tomorrow for the ASL. Then we're going to be having the SDS later on this week. Anytime we're live, you can donate 50 gems or 1 gifted sub is a 1 entry. So as many entries as you like, guys. Thank you so much for your support. We're getting into this one today. Look at these stats here, Xun. I'll actually take away our faces here.
Wow.
61% for light.
There's a lot of confidence in Daddy Light here, who's been kind of, taking the reins of mentoring these Terran guys and kind of really the only Terran that has all the insights available to you. So if you're a Terran player and you're trying to get better, someone like Barracks is learning a lot from Light. And maybe there's a lot of faith in him today that he can take down Best, despite Best being so exceptional in this matchup. This is going to be a really crazy series, no matter what happens, Say. I mean, potentially this could be the best series of the tournament.
Oh, for sure. So hard to tell who's actually going to come out ahead here, guys. This is going to be an awesome way to kick off these semifinals. A light versus best. It's going to get started here soon. I'm sure we're going to have an interview with these 2 players first. We're going to be able to talk a whole bunch more about this awesome matchup and how excited we are, Xun. I am extremely excited for this one above all the other matches. I mean, Best versus Queen was amazing, but this has the potential to be even better.
I couldn't even sleep last night, saying, I mean, I did cast for 7 hours yesterday on CSL Pro, and I was really tired and like eating late and going to bed late. But even after I finally got to bed and I was exhausted, I was like waking up from my sleep over and over again, imagining I was casting ASL, and I was like kind of casting in my sleep. It was kind of insane. I'm just that excited to bring you guys these games.
We're going to do our absolute best to break this one down. As two Zerg players, PVT, not our absolute forte. Look at that light heading down onto stage. Yeah, he's huge,
he's
man.
So hench. He's hench. Look at him. He's a unit.
So if you guys are worried about that jacket's not going to fit you, it fits light, boys. He's a big boy.
Oh, sure. Yeah, look at him. He's making all these other guys look tiny.
I'm sure it's going to be able to fit you, or at least make a very good wall piece. Here we go, guys.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm so excited for this. Look how stoic Light is as well. He looks like he's just ready to operate and fire on all cylinders. One of the most composed players in the ASL we've got. Even Sulky seems to show some emotional reactions to his bad optimizations or something. Not Light. He's just so calm and cool as a cucumber under any kind of pressure you can muster, and has one of the best executions out of all the Terran players, has to be said. And here, best. I mean, he's such a fierce ape. Like, he's always like driving the battle bus for all these other Protoss guys, showing them the absolute peak of fundamental Protoss and how to engage with really high level thinking. He's not just that typical ape of making the square peg fit through the circle hole. The way he engages is just so spectacular.
I love to see it. The interviewer breaking down both these guys, you know, loosening them up, making them laugh. That's awesome. It's got to be a lot of pressure right now, standing on the stage in front of everybody right before your big match. So much expectation here on both players. Light, he's been held up as the dad of Terran. He's been, you know, kind of mentoring a lot of these Terran up-and-comers. He's been the guy to look to for so long about where Terran is headed and what strategies are the best. So much expectation from his fans and his pupils here to go all the way. Best, on the other hand, has yet to win an ASL title. He's been working towards it for years and years, always in the ASL, never the champion. Closer than he has been in a while now here in the round of 4. He's at least seeded himself into the next season, but he wants to go deeper.
Oh, absolutely. And just so you guys know, historically speaking, things have been very even between these guys. Like, in terms of match history, it's very close to 50%. It's kind of insane in both in terms of series and the actual games, individual games, really close to 50%. So I really do feel like this can go either way today. It's going to be nuts, Sam.
Absolutely. We'll see what kind of plays Light wants to bring out. A lot of us think of him as just a strong fundamental player, a great macro player, and he is that, but he's also a crazy best of 7 player. Yep. He is so good in a series, and he is that way because he brings out so many interesting and unique styles, interesting and unique builds to be able to pull apart these players.
Yeah, and Light is extremely creative in his build orders and how he executes and the game plans he creates to deal with weird situations. He turns unwinnable situations into seemingly winnable ones. There's not really much he can't do. The only thing he really struggles with is his mechanics. He's not quite up to the same speed as someone like Barracks, but in terms of execution and decision-making, this guy is at the peak of peak.
We've got best. Okay, oh, hold on. We're wrapping it up, boys. Oh, a little bit of awkwardness here on stage. Would it be an esports event without some awkwardness from the players? That's for sure.
I mean, they're not spending a lot of time working on their social skills, saying they're in their booth practicing StarCraft nonstop, especially Light. It's Terran after all. You got to play twice as many games to get that good.
Oh my goodness. Here we go, guys. We're going to be getting into it here shortly. Their players are just settling in. Thank you so much for being here today, guys, for joining in on the live stream. Once again, Soup Live, SCTVEN. Get over here and show us some love if you're watching in the YouTube. Afterwards, it is 7 p.m. Korean Standard Time, and we're also going to have the finals on the 25th. That's going to be 2 p.m. Korean Standard Time. So take a look at what time that is for you, your local time. It might be a little bit better for some of you guys out there.
Yeah, do not sleep on that, guys. Come check us out if you're watching on YouTube at superlife.com/SCTVEN. Show some love in the chat and come and hang out with us and have a chance at winning one of these great jackets. I'm so stoked for this best of 7. I don't even know what's going to happen. And Light's picking Deja Vu for map number 1. He wants to take Best straight into the Matrix and show him how this game is actually played. Meanwhile, Best, for his map pick in number 2, is going to be already that Death Valley. So I'm expecting absolute fireworks and crazy game plans.
Death Valley really worked out. Wait, no, he didn't. He didn't win that game with him going Arbiter versus Zerg versus Queen. He did win that series though.
Right.
He's got some interesting ideas on that map for sure.
I mean, he's just a very creative player. Even though he plays with a fundamental style, overall Best is just really good at how he engages and how he adjusts to things on the fly. No matter what you do, he'll always figure out a slight win condition based on how he moves his army around, how he controls his shuttles. It's just insane what he can do. There's a Jinjin video recently about how he was engaging with his shuttles, and he kind of faked out which shuttle was the one with the Templars in. So the shuttles in the front are usually the ones that are Zealot bombing, because they're the most risky shuttles that are probably going to get targeted down by the Goliaths first, and only getting like 2-3 Zealots out before they die. And the Templars are in the shuttles in the back. This time, Best did it the other way around. He had the High Templars in the shuttle in the front, so he's targeting down the shuttle in the back, and Best is making that shuttle micro back, like, oh, I need to protect that shuttle. That's the important one. But really, he's about to drop loads of High Templars and Storms all over your army. The way he thinks is just on a different level.
No, that was in that game versus Sharp, and yeah, that was a great breakdown on the channel Jinjin 5000 YouTube. Excellent video there, just giving us some more insight. Really awesome to see. Yeah, there it is. 2020, all right, the 5th or the 25th, excuse me, of May on Sunday at 2 p.m. Looks like they're going to be switching up the studio, but you guys can still catch it live here on SCTVN.
Man, I don't even know how this series is going to go, Sam. Like, it really could go either way. I really do want Best to win. I think having Best in the finals would be a real treat. He's not really been able to do it before. He's always struggled as soon as he gets into that round of 8 stage. Light's already been in the finals many times. I know you guys at home are definitely Light fans and supporters and want to see him there. I am as well. It's just it would be even more spectacular to see Best go all the way and at least get a number 2 spot here in this tournament and give himself a nice big seed as well. He's already achieved that. He's going to have a much better chance at a tournament run next time around with that round of 16 seed that he's now been able to muster.
Well, things have worked out really well for Best so far. Out of all the players in the round of 4, I think he has the best chance of beating Light. His PvT matchup is just insanely good. His PvZ matchup, though, has been improving a lot, too. So I'm really curious to see how he's going to perform today and whether he can perform against Sulky in that finals. Has looked a little shaky, though, here and there, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's not always the most consistent of players, especially in Protoss versus Protoss, a little bit shaky. So if somehow Snow beats Sulky and it is going to be a Protoss versus Protoss finals, definitely that could slip away from him still, and Snow might take that. But if it is a Sulky versus Best finals, I think that there's like a 20-30% chance of Best winning that. The way he played against Queen, his preparation and adjustments on the fly to those games, I do feel like he's got a strong contention of maybe dismantling the champion.
That would be absolutely insane if we saw PvP finals. We haven't seen that for a long time, and we haven't had a Protoss winner for a long time as well. So just guaranteeing that would be pretty cool. I think that's probably the least likely combination we're going to have in that finals, though. Most likely it's going to be either PvZ or TvZ, but it's possible we could get PvT as well.
And one thing we can be excited about is out of these two guys, Best and Light, they definitely have a fighting chance against sulky in that grand finals. So no matter what happens today and no matter who wins, I think it's going to be a nice finals for us. I don't necessarily think Snow's going to have a big chance at taking down sulky. I put that somewhere at like 10, maybe 20% on a good day, maybe 30% if I'm being seriously generous. Just not going to probably be able to overcome sulky in that semifinals match. I do think it's either going to be Best versus sulky or Light versus sulky, and both of those results I'm extremely happy about.
I'm such a big fan of Snow. I really want to see him get through sulky. If he wins against sulky, I think he deserves to win the whole thing, but we'll see what happens. Let's talk more
That's
about
for
this
sure.
match, though.
Okay.
Best, this guy, he has been improving like crazy. He's been showing up so big on these online tournaments, and he's finally coming into his own here in this biggest of tournament in the ASL. Can he go all the way, though? I would love to see it happen. I'm going to put my money on Best here today. You can see his matchup, his wins over Light in ASL. He's got 6 wins and 3 losses. He's been showing great ability to just smash through these Terran players. I'm a little worried about what Light's going to pull out here. That's, I think, what Best will be worried about as well. Best is so strong in his fundamentals. If Light plays totally standard, I think he stands a very good chance of that. But if Light really catches him off guard, it's going to be hard.
Right. I think there will be a few curveballs in this series and potentially some builds we've never seen before, or at least variations of builds we've never seen before. Light's an extremely adept guy at breaking down what another guy's style is and how he needs to best combat that. Even when he seems like he's in a bad spot, there was many games that he looked like he wasn't going to be able to win, and somehow it was just able to thread the needle and get those win conditions no matter what. So he's really calm and collected and thinks about the game very fundamentally speaking, kind of like how Flash approaches things and just breaks down the timings and behavior trees in his brain and knows the exact path to victory he needs to take and is not going to be shying away from doing something absolutely bonkers crazy and maybe bringing us a build or something we've never even seen before.
Yeah, this is the type of guy who actually benefits from the maps being changed every single season, right? He knows how his race functions and in which way it functions the best. Kind of like Sulky able to take advantage of these new maps where other players are kind of stumbling over the different problems with the map. He is leaning into those difficulties and those differences and finding ways to overcome his opponents through those.
Now, if we take a quick look at this graph you see here, there's been a bit of a dip in Light's performance all the way down to season 16, but then you can see it climbing rapidly. And if that graph is maintaining trajectory, that means that Light should be in the finals match. So, yeah, if he manages to keep on that trend, he's been improving, breaking through to the next round every season consecutively. So now it's his season to break through all the way to that finals once again, as he did long ago. Let's see if he can remain on that warpath.
That 60% win rate versus Protoss is looking pretty strong, man. I wonder if Best has what it takes. If it's really on the day, right? Best has been showing some great performance, but how is he feeling today? How is he performing today under all of this pressure? And he has been doing well, but he has looked sometimes shaky. I really hope he gets off to a good start here on Deja Vu.
Yeah, I hope both of these players can just give us their best games no matter what. And we go to Game 7. Looks like both players are starting to get ready now, saying first map Deja Vu. Looks like we're going to be entering the Matrix. I don't know what Best and Light have got prepared for this map. Death Valley is going to be coming up just behind that, which is Best pick. I'm so excited that no matter what happens, we're definitely going to see a Death Valley game. That map is so spicy, and I want to see what Best has got cooked up for us.
There he is on stage. He's ready. Light looking calm as well. Big deep breaths here as he gets prepared for this first game. His strategy on Deja Vu. I think we're going to see something special here, guys.
Oh, absolutely, Sam. I can't even imagine how this series is going to pan out. I really do feel like this could be the best series of the entire event. It's going to be that nuts. These guys are just both so good in this respective matchup. Light, probably one of the only guys that can be confident against Bears. But here we go, guys. Season 19, ASL, round of 4, the semifinals between Best and Light. Let's get it on.
Best spawning bottom left, Light bottom right. Here we go. Guys in the chat, let me inform you, an ASL jacket is up for grabs. In fact, 2 of them are going to be given away here soon. Yes, 1 for the winner of the draw for the gems, and then 1 for the winner of the draw in the subscription gifted sub category. So all you need to do is gift 1 sub on SCTVEN or gift 50 gems, and you can do it as many times as you want, as many entries as you want, guys, and you'll be entered to win a jacket here. And that's going to be the last reminder here for today, guys. We're going to get into this one now.
I did not realize there was going to be 2. That's kind of insane. But yeah, guys, calm yourselves if you can. I definitely can't. I'm so excited to see what we're going to be having happen in this game. Looks like Light just going to be building his supply depot beneath his command center, popping out those SCVs a little bit closer to his minerals to optimize Best. Nothing crazy thus far, just a gateway opening. Will he be taking this gas, or will he be doing a bit of a greedy play and just going to go for gasless expand? Anything could happen between these 2 guys. We have to really dial in and analyze.
Absolutely. I'll be paying special attention to Light here. This is his map pick, and he wants to start this out with a win here. That's for sure. Don't want to be giving away wins on your own map pick. And he's just going to go for a 12 gas. Thus far, nothing out of the ordinary. As the probe makes its way in, it's not going to suspect anything just yet.
Yeah, and we don't have a gas yet for Best, so it might be that gasless expansion. Okay, he's just now taking his gas after scouting Light first. And knows its close position, so probably feels a little bit less safe about potentially taking a gasless here, and just wants to optimize for an early game defense in case there was some kind of crazy 2 factory or something out of Light.
Trying to get some harassment going on these SCVs, but Light dedicating a bit of time from one of those SCVs from the mineral line to keep that at bay. Now going to go out for the scout. Again, still trying to get in here. Bit of a flash SCV there, sticking on top of that supply depot. Going to keep itself safe for the time being. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see a Zealot out of the Best this time in this game, because that setup is so nice from Light. Look at how beautifully placed all these buildings are. It'd be almost impossible. Okay, does make a Zealot, but coming across the map and trying to deal damage to that wall is going to be tough.
If Best wants to go for a rangeless expand, he might want to make this Zealot just in case there was an engineering bay block or something from Light. He's probably worried that Nexus could get slowed down as well. But it's going to be so hard to get value from this Zealot, especially with 3 Marines. Oh, there's the 2 factory. I was thinking about it, Saiyan, and it is going to be a 2 factory.
Oh my goodness, a 2nd factory here at the top of the base. Is he going to float that down and try to start building vultures out on the map? That is going to be wild. 4 Marines here at the top of the round. There's no way Best gets in for that scout. Dude, this is a crazy way to start this best of 7.
Okay, but Best isn't doing rangeless, so this isn't too bad for Best. He will be having the ranged goons to help defend against this. We'll only probably have 1 gateway's worth of production of units, so like 4 or so goons initially to try and delay this, and then running back to his natural to hope for the 5th goon to pop out in time so he can start to micro down a potential 3 tank push or something coming out from Light. It depends on how many vultures he wants to make, because he has got this factory way in the back of his base to try and hide that. He could float it and make vultures outside, but I think he might just make vultures from inside his main base and try and put a lot of pressure onto Best in this early game. And he's hiding the other 2 Marines So he might try and make this look like a strong FD push to kind of double bluff Best here and make him think that this is nothing too crazy, but it actually is going to be something crazy.
It is indeed going to be something crazy. I believe he saw the extra 2 Marines on the ramp. I'm not 100% sure on that, but now he absolutely knows. He saw the Vulture and the tank coming out, so he knows that it's a 2-factory play. He's got a Robo on the way, but he's only sitting here on 1 gateway. Against 2-factory, it's going to be pretty tough, especially with so many Marines having been pumped out. But can he get this? Oh my gosh, he almost gets a kill on the Vulture. That would have been absolutely massive.
Yeah, it's a good early game advantage for Best, putting down a lot of DPS onto that Vulture. One more shot does pick it off as well. No more possibility of mines coming in from that. Mines just now finished as well for Light, so this attack not going to be doing nearly as much as it should. That Vulture not being able to lay down 3 mines to help keep this attack alive is going to really hurt Light's chances. Has to wait for a couple more rallied units. Going to start laying down mines in the wake of Best's natural expansion here and gear up for another round 2, making more and more units from these 2 factories, and we'll hope for a timing and just pray that Best's second gateway will take a bit more time to come online and these tanks can still get something done.
There's a bit of a delay here, but this is not over. Tanks are going to aggress now. He's bringing the probes up immediately. I really like the pull of probes instantly to start to deal with this. A Zealot in the mix is going to get kind of blocked, but the probes are doing a great job shutting this down. He's targeting down mines. Really fantastic control out of Best. He just needs to live here. He doesn't care if he loses some of these probes. This is a pretty all-in play from Light, and so far he's been managing to block it. He's kept all the Dragoons alive. Gonna pull the probes again, targeting down onto some of these Dragoons that have gone into low HP. He will have an Observer out here shortly, but he can't push onto these tanks just yet. Still 4 Dragoons out. That's a real quick tank killing force. Here comes that Observer. Best has just about held this.
Yeah, this is a really tight hold. Vultures, though, trying to see if they can get some mines on top of these Dragoons. They are softened up. Good target firing from those tanks. Beautiful mine connection, taking out so many probes, saying this other mine will be taken out, but that's some pretty strong economic damage from... Oh, that's crazy. I mean, that goon will also die. The other one's on red HP. There is still some value this tank can get in the natural expansion. He will make Best have to evacuate this, bait the Dragoons down the ramp, then the Vultures come in to shave off the shields of that Dragoon, start laying mines down on the ramp, and the other goon is seriously low HP. Just 1 or 2 pot shots from that arc light cannon of that tank will take that down. Best has to wait for another tank, and siege mode is finished. Has a couple of SBs to repair as well. If he starts laying down mines at the bottom of this ramp, this could be a still successful attack for Light here. Best is desperate and trying to pull these probes, targeting down these mines with those particle beams. Not able to finish those off though. Has got observers, but that mine is 5 HP.
Oh no, Best has completely flubbed this with the mine connections there. Right at the end of that hold, he was so close to keeping himself alive there, but just faltered.
Wow.
Unreal.
Man.
You could see him shaking his head there, a little bit of a smirk on his face as he knows he had that hold and he would have been 1-0 right now, but he just barely wasn't able to get rid of that mine. He lost so much to those 2 mine connections, it was impossible for him to hold that any longer. Unreal way to start this.
The target firing was really good from Light as well. The way he focused down that Zealot instantly at the start of the fight, way back when, the way he was positioning his tanks and shuffling them back and forth. Just one tiny mistake from Light and Best pounces and just shuts down these tanks instantly. And Best was pulling a decent amount of probes here, body blocking the tanks, targeting down these mines as they were coming up. Did a pretty good job of like microing back and forth with these Dragoons, but Light was just too good and keeping this lower HP tank back as much as possible. Got so many pot shots off on those Dragoons and kept them softened up so that the rallied Vultures could keep getting in there and doing more and more damage by laying down these mines. Look at some of these mine connections. That one was huge. The second one coming in a few moments here also killed another 2 Dragoons. It was kind of insane. Look at Light's micro here, forcing him to come forward, then gets that mine connection despite the observer seeing it, and gets that kill on the exit of that low HP Dragoon. Just really stellar stuff here from Light in game number 1.
Oh, Best was so close there. It was so close to holding that. He had been doing such a great job targeting down mines with his probes, and Dragoons there just got a little bit bunched up. They weren't really targeting properly there. He must have had a little bit of a misclick. And yeah, he totally messed up that hold. Loses game number 1. Now all the momentum is in Light's corner, although he knows he knows how close he was to losing that one. He knows how close that
Yeah.
was to failing. If that mind connection hadn't gone off, there's a very good chance that Best comes out way ahead.
He lost that first vulture for free, right? So he was already in a pretty big deficit to try and overcome. He was trying to disguise that build for as long as possible, making it look like a fake double, like a strong FD push with those 6 Marines to try and make Best not freak out too much and throw down a shield battery. And that definitely worked. Best didn't overreact to it initially, but after he killed that vulture, I had a really strong chance of defending that regardless of only being on 1 gateway production for a while. So with those 5 Dragoons, could have done a lot better at shutting that attack down from Light, but just couldn't execute it. Light, with his brilliant opening plan and execution, was still able to secure the victory despite being that vulture down right from the start.
Maybe this is a bit of a meta game from Light as well, right? When is Best going to be the most nervous? Probably in game number 1. Let's force him to defend a 2-factory play right at game number 1, right in the beginning, when he's not settled in, when he's not, calmed down from the early interviews and being in front of this on the stage, and walking into the studio, all that good stuff. This is a good opportunity to take advantage of those nerves from Best, and I think we just saw that there. Light gets in with a 2-factory, not technically one of the best plays. Like it's a pretty kind of, it's out of the meta, right? 2-factory, we just don't see it that much. But
Yeah.
Light pulling it out here, I think it was a great idea.
Oh, it's definitely a good idea. I mean, it's not one of those builds that has a high win percentage. So the fact that he was able to utilize that in game number 1 to really set the tempo and also keep Best guessing in the rest of this series is a big deal, because now Best is going to be thinking in the back of his mind, hang on a minute, if I go rangeless expand or go 12 nexus, I might just fall flat on my face to a 2-fact here. So he might be a little bit more skeptical about being greedy in the future of this series. And that's a big deal for Light.
I would be really shocked to see Light do 2-factory even one more time in this series. It's a possibility, but it's just not as strong of a build as it used to be. It's been kind of figured out just through really good Dragoon control. Most Protoss players are capable of holding that. And you could see there how close Best was to pulling that off. The one mind connection there, that first mind connection, completely, that should not have happened. 2 Dragoons were kind of moving at an awkward position, not getting the attacks off. He must have done a single misclick, and maybe that's part of the nerves.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's going to have to keep his composure going forward. That's been kind of Best's problem in ASL in general, is once he gets very super deep. Snow had similar issues where you just kind of get a little bit more jittery and you can't execute to the best of your ability. And StarCraft is such a crazy, insane zero-sum game that it's all about those razor-thin margins, and every single percentile of performance is so important at the highest of level. It's kind of like in football. Like, Messi just makes the other footballers look silly because he's just a few percent better than everyone else in some of those areas. And that's what happens in StarCraft. So if you can't play your absolute A game at 100% of your ability, some of these other guys are going to start slapping you down.
Absolutely, Shun. We're going to take a quick break here, just another minute 30, guys, and we'll get right into game number 2. All right, guys. Game number 2. Best going to be feeling a little thrown off after that game number 1, but it was the map pick for Light, Deja Vu. I'm really surprised he brought out the 2 factory. I'm sure Best is as well. He almost held it. He almost had it. You can see him shaking his head there. He knows it. And so he's just got to play his game now. And he's probably got a full-on game plan set up for Death Valley here. He knows exactly what he wants to do. There's definitely a reason why he chose this map second, Xun.
Oh, absolutely, Saiyan. I'm so excited to see this game. Death Valley in particular, just one of those spicier maps we've had in a long time without being so out there crazy that it's just not fun to play on or watch. It's that perfect area of crazy. And it's really hard to get a map this balanced and insane at the same time. But guys, we're jumping right into it. ASL Season 19, map number 2, Death Valley, between Best and Light. Let's get it, guys.
Best. Top left. Light. Bottom right. Saw Best just shaking his head there as the countdown was going in. I hope he's not too thrown off, man. I really hope he can hold it together. This guy is so good when he's playing his A game, but he does tend to falter just a bit here and there. He's gonna send a very early probe out here. Definitely his plan involves some early gateways in the center, somewhere near Light side of the map.
I mean, he might even try and get this in the main base, Saiyan. He might just be making 9-9 gates inside of Light's main here. This might be insane. Oh, is he gonna scout at the SCV?
Oh my gosh, okay, he's gonna see it.
Oh man, that's
Gas
really
deal?
unfortunate. I mean, he's going to have to do something different now.
Yeah,
he's going to have to gas steal or play something different and just make the pylon in his main base. It's kind of like we saw what Rain was doing in that Protoss versus Protoss on this map, where he did the really early probe scout into the main base, and once he got scouted, he kind of had to fall back on his other game plan here. It's going to maybe get some harassment damage on this probe. Best needs really good execution to potentially kill one of these SCVs. If Light is on top of it and keeps bumping bellies with that fusion cutter, it's going to be hard for Best to get anything done with this.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and just take his own gas. Damn, that really throws Best off a lot. You know, he was hoping to get something done with this early probe. At bare minimum, be able to steal the gas to slow down Light's development, but he's not even going to be able to do that. Of course, this is going to be a slightly delayed barracks after the fact, but yeah, I mean, he's got to do a lot of work with this. He's got to force SCVs off the line and try to get a kill with this. Otherwise, it's going to be a serious deficit for Best, sending out his first early probe and really not getting anything going with it.
Well, that's the thing. Because of Best's commitment with this early probe and setting himself back in his own mining, it's 50 minerals a minute per probe. So it's a pretty big investment to send one of your first probes out that early on. So Light's kind of content to make a small sacrifice himself, guarantee getting that gas. Even though the tech timings might be slightly delayed as a result, he knows, relatively speaking, he's still going to be pretty much on curve with what Best is doing back at home.
There it is. Probe going to be forced back once again. 2 SCVs forced off the line here. Is going to slow down a bit, but look at that. Still 235 factory. Not bad. Not bad at all for having a probe in your base from, you know, right from the get-go as soon as you've got the supply depot started.
Yeah, just a 7-second delay on that factory. When all said and done, that's not that big of a deal. And Best committed quite a lot of minerals early on by scouting this early. Another probe scout coming out to maybe intercept this SCV to see if he can get some chase micro on that. With good control, he can get a lot of damage onto this SCV. Oh, he doesn't quite keep up with it, though, and Light will get into this main base without taking too much damage on that. So he can get a nice, good scout off for a long time. Looks like Best really wants to get rid of this SCV, but can't. Look how much he's committing to trying to kill this.
Oh, really wants to remove it from his main. You know, I've seen Best do quite a bit of DT play recently. In this matchup, I wonder if that's what his plan is here. It's possible with him trying to get rid of this SCV so deliberately, trying so hard to try and track this down. Maybe he wants to hide some tech up in the corner or something. You can see that pylon there at the top left of the minerals. There we go. He does finish off that SCV. Will he go for a crazy DT play? He's going to drop a Nexus here for now. I don't know. I think that SCV was in there for too long.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, he didn't see the third pylon or anything, so he definitely is considering that Best could do something a little bit crazy here. But the CC going down at the same time as the Nexus, that really does favor Terran by quite a margin. And that Dragoon will not be able to get enough damage done to really amount to much. He'll just wait for this tank to pop out and then deal with that and send some SCVs to repair that back up to full in just a moment here. As long as he can keep running back the low HP SCVs or repairing them, it's not going to really be a problem here for Light. The second Goon will eventually show up, but not really be able to amount to much. As you've got 2 gateways worth of production to pressure this wall, you're probably not going to be able to break through.
Probably not, no. We can, here as Best, threaten on this side of the map and then rotate all the way to the other side if he wants to. Ooh, Light just threw down a starport center left. He's going to do a drop play into this main base of Best. That is going to be difficult to hold, especially if Best is still trying to put on this pressure with the Dragoons early on.
Yeah. I mean, I really do like Light's position in this game thus far. We'll have to see if Best has got something to throw a curveball Light's way. It did seem like he was really desperate to get rid of that SCV scout to at least put the fear of God into Light about what could be possibly happening. So maybe Light will be a little bit more timid in how he approaches this game and doesn't move out. But look at this. Light's going to be doing a vulture drop into the main base. This is one of his staples. Way back when only the Protosses on Light's pro gaming team had any kind of good defense against the dropship play, because Light was always doing this pretty much like, at least 50% of his games back in the day. It's one of his staples. So I imagine that Best is aware of that, will be somewhat prepared to deal with that. It was kind of funny though, watching how all these other Protosses on the other pro gaming teams just not be able to defend against his dropship play. But whenever the other pros were playing from his team that were Protoss, when they were playing against Terran, they always had Dragoons just waiting in their base around that like 6 minute, 6:30 mark.
Yeah, here we are at the 6-minute mark. Is Best fully prepared? He's got a lot of yellow dots in his base. I think those are spread Dragoons. Yes, they are. Yeah. So he is fully ready for this, fully prepared. This is what I like to see. Light is going to probably combo this with other vultures coming into other locations. There's a lot of different locations to attack into here. It's not just the natural. You could come in through this back way over here on the left-hand side, or you could come in through the natural over on the right-hand side. He's going to attack over here, draw a little bit of attention. He's only going to get, I think, 2 probes with this. He does get 2 probes. Has another vulture here over on the right-hand side, and here comes that drop now. Are those Dragoons being pulled? Has he successfully drawn the attention of Best? I believe he has, and he will get in with this drop.
Yeah, these 4 vultures are going to get in there and do some damage, laying some mines behind the gateways before starting to hammer on the probes. Best's going to pull those to try and block them from getting too deep inside his mineral line, so the Dragoons can still cycle up here and deal with that. Great little 1-2 punch combination from Light, like a magician playing misdirection, saying, look over here, or the sleight of hand is being done. Those 4 vultures getting some damage, but maybe not enough to make Light really happy about this game state, but it definitely was something. Best now getting his 3rd base online. I would say that's about medium amounts of damage, though it's not that critical. Best had enough Dragoons in position in that main base to clean it up somewhat efficiently, so Best is still in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been much better if the Dragoons were still spread out the way that he had originally done, but Light did a great job getting that distraction tactic going. He has his setup back at home pretty well situated. Mines down here, good buildings out in front. It's going to be hard for Best to do any sort of counter damage, but he may have a shuttle coming up in just a moment. Maybe he can start to deal some damage. Oh, he can actually hit the gas here. This is just out of range.
He's going to get it.
Yeah, for sure he's going to be able to get this gas. So, oh, wait, hold on. Ooh, that's a lot of SCVs. Oh, this repair is pretty damn good.
Wow, that repair was just perfectly timed. It was so low HP, but he got that all the way back up to full. Tank not quite in range to defend that. We'll shuffle that over. He's forcing a little bit of lost mining here from Light to try and keep this alive. So it does force a little bit of a tax to be paid from Light here to siphon off some of that economic advantage from the early game. But when all said and done, Light's probably still confident that this 5-factory play is going to be successful. And he's going to have a lot of units available to him to put a lot of pressure onto Best soon.
So which side do you think is more likely he attacks into at this 5-factory? Is he going to go for the top side or the bottom side here and try to go for that kill?
I think he has to go to the bottom side just because it's so much easier to defend that way. You can kind of defend by attacking, and he's got a wall in by those Troy gates. He could even kill those if he really needs to. I think that'd be the safer way of playing for Light here.
Yeah, I'd love to see him kill those Troy gates before leaving, but maybe he wants to leave that open. It's just, you know, we've seen plenty of games with those Troy gates being left open behind and kind of, you know, ruining things, especially for Rush versus Soul Key, able to get in there and deal the damage while the push is going in the opposite direction. It's just such a powerful move to be able to close off one direction and just make your base into sort of an island on that side of the map.
Yeah, those expansions on the top lane have slightly less minerals, a few hundred less minerals than these other bases do. So Light's not as concerned about shutting down that base. He's more concerned about shutting down this later third that's got really fresh 1500 mineral yield patches. I think he's going to do some harassment on this northern flank. He's got a dropship moving up into position there. He might be trying to do another 1-2 combo later on where he tries to draw best attention to this top lane and defending against these vultures and dropship play. And meanwhile, that'll give him some oxygen and breathing room to start pushing out with his 5-factory soon on this bottom side of the map.
That Vulture going to give a little bit of an early warning here with that pylon to Best. He is going to be sending back his drop. Has a cannon here already as well. Tank on that high ground is a bit annoying. Wants to get more damage with that, but he's not really going to find too much. Drop defense is looking quite good right now for Best. Going to be able to get this mine to connect without actually killing his Reaver. No, he won't be able to do that, and the mine remains, but this drop has been shut down. Really good control by Best, and nice drop defense to follow up that first attack. Now Light moving out on the bottom side. Is he just moving forward to take his mineral only, or this gas base just to the north, or is he just going to go for a full-on push? I think Best might have the recipe for that, might have the antidote to a push like this. Already 40 supply ahead. Can he actually break something like that?
Also pretty good connections on those vultures as well. Saiyan siphoning off a lot of the meat to this Terran army already. Best surging ahead in supply. This is a great high to low transition to work with. Reaver's dropped on top of the tanks with some good Scarab connections. He would be able to break through the rest of those. Good target frying on those Reavers. Do take them down, and the tank is back in business at that natural expansion, starting to hammer away at that and see if he gets some punish onto Best while he's distracted. But look at these surge of Zealots. Despite not having speed, it doesn't matter. He killed the majority of those vultures. Now speed finally kicks in. Those leg enhancements will help him keep Light at bay. Meanwhile, Light taking the 6 o'clock as his third. He was kind of attacking while defending while attacking with that push, but Light does get a couple of vultures here into this third base. It's killing quite a lot of probes.
Oh, this is a really nice move by Light. This is the drop that dropped off the tank over there, above the natural, and he brings it around, loops it over to this side, knowing that the army is out of position there. This is a really good game to study, guys. I love what we're seeing out of these two players. Light is already taking his third base, but can he hold it? A little bit surprised to see Best actually not have Zealot speed during that attack. It was past the 11-minute mark, and he just didn't have it online. Now he's got it here, but he just doesn't have the army anymore, I think, to smash through Light, who's really set up nicely on this high ground. It's going to be hard to get up there.
Right, yeah, no, I do favor Light's position currently. Best is going to kind of have to just get his fourth line at this 9 o'clock and kind of sit back for a bit, try and power up on his gateway count, and go into a more fundamental style gateway man, relying on speed shuttles to bomb on top of these tanks at a later stage and eventually get that storm upgrade online. Light going up into 7 factory worth of production before even thinking about expanding again. You definitely need to go 7 factories before taking your 4th base against someone like Best.
Oh, absolutely. You need that big mass of metal to be able to shut down these attacks from Best. He's so good at diving on top of your tanks and just getting the perfect connections with these speed shuttles, the storms, all of that good stuff. You need those masses of tanks and vultures to back them up.
Yeah, it looks like Best trying to play distraction of his own now, trying to see if he can draw the attention of Light into defending his main base. So there's not enough at this 6 o'clock base for him to break in there. Observer sees that there's quite a lot of vultures and tanks set up there already, so he doesn't really feel super confident about pushing in and breaking that position. Best is one of the best, pun intended, at breaking seemingly unbreakable positions of Terran players. Light's a bit of a different story, though. He probably doesn't feel as confident against someone like Light. He has a lot of respect for him and senses a lot of gravitas in this man, who's an absolute hench of a unit. I can't even begin to explain like how good Light is able to play against these guys. Despite being a little bit of a slower player in terms of his actual speed, he's very efficient with that slightly slower speed.
Absolutely. We've got a Stargate on the way here. Best maybe thinking about a bit of a transition. We don't generally think of Best as an Arbiter player or a carrier player for that matter, but he can pull out either when the situation calls for it. He is going to be taking the right-hand side here. He's not managed to take out that assimilator on Light side of the map, but he's given it a good beating. And so should be able to finish it off, maybe with a Reaver drop, something like that, to just close off that lane so that Light can never attack that top side. Maybe he wants to play sort of a keep away game with Light rather than his normal Hulk smash style.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what Best has got cooked up for Light going forward in this game. Expanding up here does kind of complicate things. It's going to be difficult for him to defend this base from harassment from Light. He's going to keep coming up here with a dropship every now and again, and keep forcing attention out of Best while coming into this 9 o'clock pocket as well. Only one cannon here to defend, so he can just target fire down these probes. Takes a long time for this cannon to actually chew through these vultures, and he will be clearing out pretty much all of those probes at that expansion with some good target firing, and that's going to put a bit of a dent into the economic prowess of Best in this game. Best might start to feel a little bit pressured in making something happen. I mean, Light hasn't tried to take his 4th base yet, but Light is still sitting pretty right now.
I think we're definitely going to see Best pull the trigger on some sort of an attack. Look, he's maxed. He just lost a bunch of probes. This army is... it's a hammer, and Light looking like a pretty nice nail right now. He definitely wants to hit one of these bases. He's lining them up, and
Light to take this 4th base.
Oh, this is a perfect opportunity. He's gonna move forward, try to take this 4th right as Best maxes out. This is what he does best. Pun intended. Here we go. Best lining everything up here, and he's gonna take it to Light now, dropping on top with all of these shuttles. Does he have some storms in here? He does. Can he get the cast? Holy crap! Look at that mine connection there, blowing up a huge percentage of the army in the front. But all the zealots are gone. Look at how many tanks are in this back line.
That's insane.
Impossible to break through that, and Light will have his 4th.
I mean, I think Light might have cut a few SCVs. The amount of tanks that he's got is just absolutely insane. He's got 2-1 upgrades on them for the time being. Only +2 weapons for Best at the current time. Light is just going to be able to get this 4th base more or less undeterred. I mean, Best will gear up for another attack here in a few moments, but so far so good for Light. He's holding the line, and Best probably feels extremely pressured in making something happen with one of his busting shenanigans, but so far Light is trading extremely cost efficiently and has to wait for a few more shuttles to come down in here before we can go for round 2.
He is going to go for that round 2. There we go, diving on top of everything. These zealots dropping in the back line, going to be on top of these tanks, drawing a lot of that fire. Does take out some of these tanks here in the back line pretty efficiently. Oh, these Templars are getting focused down. Way too good of target fire there from Light. Not allowing any of those storms to get down on these crucial packs of tanks, and the spread is too good. He is just going to slam his head against this wall, breaking his fist, breaking his own skull. Light has that 4th base completely defended, and we're going to have to go into a very long game if Best wants to win this one. He's not going to be able to break him on 4 base, at least for the time being.
Oh, absolutely. He's going to have to wait for Light to come out onto the map and hope that he can catch him out of position with his pants down, with a tank siege up a little bit too late or something. Light does feel a little bit aggressive right now after that successful defense. He knows that the supplies are pretty even, which certainly favors the Terran. We finally have some Arbiters out to try and see if he can equalize the power scaling that he currently is up against. It's going to be tough for him to remax out quickly enough to stop Light in his tracks, though. He's making his way over to this 9 o'clock base to kind of start to lean on the Protoss player and force the Protoss to come to him and try and set up an entrenched position. Best is going to flank around from the right-hand side with Shuttle sharking down to the bottom left, see if he can do some indirect damage to Light by cutting off reinforcements or by doing a big drop harassment at this 6 o'clock location that's probably now undefended.
Light does have some vultures moving into this area, and if he's on top of things, should be able to prevent storms from killing a lot of these units. Templar maybe going down here. The target fire is not quite there. This is a really weird location to be parking your army here. Best going to vacate that spot, but Light is lording over him, utilizing this high ground to massive advantage, not allowing Best to move freely on this map anymore whatsoever. It looks like Best is actually going to send some units around the right-hand side, and he's taken that base over in top right, so he's still got a fair amount of income, but Light is really starting to put the stranglehold on him now at a really good, decent supply closing in on this center-left base.
Yeah, 2-2 upgrades now for Light. He's starting to build up energy on this Arbiter, maybe thinking about a recall in the main base. There are some anti-recall mines set up in case of that eventuality. Light's probably waiting for that +3 weapons to finish up before feeling super confident about doing a full-on push. But here comes that recall into the main base. Quite a lot of Dragoons inside it. Light is kind of prepared for this, though. Storm does come out on the tank line to the west of this recall. But I think with this amount of units, or this attack follow-up coming into the wall, breaking that supply depot, could be enough reinforcements that Best needs. And a storm drop at 6 o'clock does cut out a lot of the economy available to Light during all of this. If that enough units can come up from this low ground to reinforce, Best might put enough damage onto Light to force him to retreat back from the front line of some of these units. So far doing a pretty good job of clearing this army up. I don't think there's enough meat to this army for Best to kill much but a few factories. It would be really good if he could shut down this +3 weapons upgrade, but I don't think that's going to be an eventuality. Another storm drop coming online to the SCV transfer to the 6. Best is trying to create enough chaos to hold Light back here, but it's not going to be enough. Light is going to play like Flash and leave his rallied units to clean up on aisle 5 back at home, while the rest of his main battle force pushes up into this natural third location of Best.
Despite that recall and attack combination looking pretty good and shutting down even a factory of Light, it's not going to be enough. Wow, this counter attack, the counter punch from Light, too strong. That's just not able to crack him open like he's been able to do to some of these other Terran players.
Yeah, and Light looks completely unfazed. Like, who are you, guy? I'm Light. I'm the absolute daddy of Terran right now, and I'm about to teach you some lessons.
It seems like that angle that Best was attacking into just straight from the north onto the 4th base. Light was completely ready for that. Yeah, this recall actually did have some good potential, and it was nice that he found that one spot where there wasn't enough turrets and managed to nail it. Didn't get hit by hardly any mines. He got hit by one mine there that actually killed 3 Dragoons. However, the majority of this was still dealing damage. Just not enough stuff here. In the early game went a little bit too Light favored. The mid-game push as well. That hold was way too strong. Dude, this is not looking good, man. I really want to see things go better for my boy Best here.
Right. Sometimes StarCraft's like a fighting game where they're doing these combinations to try and put out as much damage before the other player can stabilize and start blocking again. And sometimes the combos are just not effective enough. And it doesn't matter if your opponent has 1% HP or 100, he can still dish out the exact same amount of damage at all times. So it wasn't enough to put Light on the back burner. Had enough left in the engine to clean up back at home with his rallied units, and didn't have to sacrifice any of these forces at the front line, and could just pull the trigger on a big assault to end Best in I mean, I can't even believe how outclassed Best is being right now. It seems like he's a little bit shaky psychologically in dealing with Light, whereas Light is just this cold, calculated killer that doesn't even care who he's playing against.
You got to feel for Best right now. That game number 1, I think, definitely hurt his mental. Not quite the Terminator that Light is, not able to just shake that one off completely. I hope that after game number 2, though, he can really dig deep and put on a good show for us this round of 4.
Yeah. Now, we've seen crazier things happen where a player's like 3-0 down and they get a reverse sweep. That's really funny. A guy just got grabbed so he wouldn't walk into the shot there. It's like, no, you're walking into the shot. Get back here, guy.
It's a beautiful production that they put on for us here. Soup really does a fantastic job with the ASL. We couldn't be happier to be here. Guys, this is a real treat, a real special event for both of us. We've been watching it for, well, since it began. And just so happy to be here to cast this for you guys today.
Oh, it's a real treat. I hope you guys are enjoying this in the chat, regardless of what player you're rooting for or what eventualities you want to see. I know there's going to be a lot of Best fans out there that are feeling a little sore about this performance thus far. But end of the day, we all love this game, and we're all here to see some great StarCraft. So let's just hope that this series can go the distance, and it won't just be a 4-0 clean sweep here for Light. But I have to say, if you're a betting man, like a 4-0 is not going to net you much profit. I think a lot of people would be thinking that a 4-0 is likely with how the first 2 games have gone. Best mental doesn't look the strongest right now. He needs to really keep it under wraps and not be too phased by the fact that things haven't gone his way.
You could see what people in the crowd were thinking, the people in the community were thinking. What was it, 67% thought that Light was going to win? Was it even higher than that?
Yeah, that was 61, wasn't it?
Something right around there. And so it's pretty hard to have an upset at this stage in the tournament. These best of 7s, the people who are really good at them, they definitely outclass even the stronger high-tier players who haven't had a lot of experience in best of 7. I don't think that Best is in that category. I think he also has a lot of experience as well, but maybe not as much as Light.
Yeah, maybe not quite as much as Light. I think that's the thing that really is the determining factor here. Light is just one of those guys that is so much better in offline events than online because his experience is able to be leveraged. Some of these other guys play like absolute beasts when it comes to those online events because they're sat in the comfort of their own homes. There's no lights or cameras or crowds to worry about. But on stage today, there's a lot of psychological pressure on you. And someone like Light does have a lot of gravitas. And these players do really respect him and have kind of a fear of him because they know just how calm and collected he is under whatever kind of pressure you can do to him. And he's not going to be so easily fazed by your shenanigans. And we'll be playing at an absolute peak of his ability in pretty much every single game, regardless of the results.
It's kind of incredible to me that Light decided, he thought about this whole series. He thought about, what maps he was going to pick, how he was going to play out this strategy. He gamed it out in his head plenty of times once he knew that his Best was going to be his opponent. And he decided 2 factory on Deja Vu is how he's going to open this best of 7. It's crazy to me, the decision making here, but it really did work out well. And now he's really got the momentum going in his favor.
I think it's great, honestly. It worked out exceedingly well for him. And that strong FD, like double bluff to start things off with an actual 2 factory coming behind it, really did blindside Best. And he even caught one of the vultures before mines were finished. And regardless, still managed to fail in holding that. So definitely did disrupt his mental flow a little bit and pulled him out of his focus. He's going to have to find that flow state going forward if he wants any hope at getting a comeback going.
We're really hoping that he can get that going, guys. We're going to take a short break here. Just a few minutes, and we'll be right back for game number 3. Just hold on. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back. Ready for game number 3. Ready for this comeback, Xun. Hope that Best can make it happen. We don't want to see it 4-0.
I want to see it.
We're not, super sold on either player. We don't want either player to win necessarily, but we do want to see a really good series here tonight.
Yeah, I just want to see as many games as possible, game 6 or game 7 kind of stuff. I don't want it to be a 4-1 or a 4-0. I want a 4-3 or a 4-2 at the bare minimum, something like that.
We'll see what Best can pull out, try to make that happen. He's lost a lot of the momentum in this game, in this series, and we all know how strong Light is. How crazy he can be with this much of a lead. He's even more prone to pulling out something wild and just trying to close this out quickly without allowing Best to start that comeback.
It's just insane that it always seems like Light's just showing up to the office and just going through the motions like it isn't a big deal to be on stage playing in front of thousands of people with like a camera right in his face and people screaming. I just don't even understand how he's able to perform at his best despite all of those distractions. I think that's why these athletes are so special and why we do consider some of these games to be kind of sport-like. It's like when you're playing in a football stadium and you're surrounded by a bunch of fans that are screaming things at you, things that maybe you're happy to hear, but also, a lot of insults are being shouted and jeered your way as well. It can be very distracting for about 99.99% of people on the planet. There's no way they can stay in their levels of concentration with that much noise going on around them, but these guys can. Hopefully Best can find his mojo yet again in this series. He's going to need to have any chance at dealing with an absolute Terminator that is Light.
Great signs here. Free smudge, okay. Now's the best time to shed light. Let's go, guys. Got some great signs here. I love that Jesus Best sign. That's amazing. Oh my goodness.
We did see him pray, right? He did put his hands together and do you remember that from the versus Queen series? He looked up and put his hands together. He's certainly going to have to start praying to some kind of StarCraft god to have any chance at dealing with Light after being down 0-2. It's certainly possible. We've seen crazier comebacks. Could be his day to show us a really impressive series despite losing those first 2 games. I don't want to count him out yet. I do favor him in this matchup quite often. Light's just a different animal, a different caliber of beast, someone really hard to tame. I don't think that there's enough charm in the planet to deal with that.
Best. Come on, buddy. He's up there right now. He's getting prepared for this next game. What does he have at the top of mind here going into this one? He's got to be wondering what Light's going to pull out next and just preparing himself for some good fundamentals and excellent drop defense. I think that's got to be the first thing he's thinking about right now.
Yeah, I think so. I like that Best's also rocking a Bayern Munich shirt here, so he's definitely a football fan, and there's certainly plenty of football analogies we could have to relate to StarCraft, but don't worry about that right now, guys, because we're jumping right into the next game. ASL Season 19, the semifinals, Best versus Light, and the next map, Polestar. Game number 3, guys. Let's get it on.
Best. Top left, Light. In the bottom right, cross map situation. Could be good for Best going forward here. He could take this to a nice long game. Pretty hard to end things early with a 2-base play or even, a 1-base play as Light. Especially against a player the quality of Best. Like, this guy is crazy strong at beating those 2-base attacks. He will not die to those. He usually breaks them, and he usually wins off of a play like that. Light may have to go into 4-base and take it really long and late in order to get out that maxed out army and take on Best in the late game.
Yeah, and this is one of the best maps for Light to do something like that on. I mean, it's a very close natural third for him to take, and it has got a gas. Like, there's a map like Polypoid, for example, has a fairly easy to take third base for Terran, but there's no gas to it. So this is a really good setup for Light to just sit back and macro up to his heart's content and just take a small quadrant in the corner, these 4 little bases all next to each other, and kind of, you know, be able to consolidate his defenses and make it extremely difficult for Best to break into him. We have seen Best do really well on this map in how he maneuvers around and drags you out of position to then pounce on top of your tank lines. Someone like Light, though, will not be as easily led like that. Someone like Mind was more, you know, easily tricked by Best in those kinds of situations, but Light, you know, much more on top of things and not going to be so easily drawn out.
That's going to be scouting over here to top right. Doesn't have any opportunity to get a little bit of harassment going here initially, but he's going to be happy to see that Light is all the way across the map. Plenty of space to work with in this game, and he should be able to find moments to bust through what Light is doing. There's no super tight chokes like what we saw in that last game, right? Death Valley,
right.
Such a tight choke that he was trying to force that army through. Not going to be the case here on Polestar. There's so much more space to work with.
Well, especially at this rally point area, there's really massive ramps leading down from that high ground cross section. Does finally get that probe into the base of Light, putting down a little bit of harassment of that particle beam, but not really going to amount to much. Just wants to make sure there's no craziness coming out for Light. He sees only 1 SCV mining on gas, so he can be pretty darn sure there's no 2-factor or anything like that to worry about. So he's going to confidently just, you know, get his own stuff going up on his side of the map. Probably wants to take like a 23 Nexus here or something of the like.
I will see if he opts to get the Dragoon first or the Nexus first. Looks like he'll go for Dragoon before, or excuse me, Nexus before Dragoon. And so sitting here at 17, Supply gets that Nexus down. Bit of greed from Best, but it's completely warranted in these positions.
Yeah, the only thing he needs to worry about is a strong FD push from Light. We'll have to see if he wants to continue Marine production or not and go all the way up to 6 Marines. He is cutting on 3, so it looks like Light just wants to play defensively, get his CC up and defend the first Dragoon timing with 3 Marines and a Vulture. There's not even going to be a Dragoon coming on the way, so this is pretty good for Best. I mean, it's going to take a long time for this SCV scout to actually get up here and identify that. I think this is just the right amount of greed when all's said and done.
Yeah, it's looking like a good opener. And Light will be able to come across here with the first Vulture. You probably don't want to throw this Vulture away, though, by trying to dive into the natural. There's only going to be the 1 Dragoon, so it's not too scary to just kind of poke in, see if he can find a way into the main base, but fully committing is probably going to be the wrong choice. He is just going to back away as soon as he sees that Dragoon. Looking over towards that 3rd base, start to get these mines out and slow down the progress of Best as he builds up.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is okay from Best. I think this Nexus is just fast enough to be comfortable going forward in this game. It's nowhere near as good as, say, going for 12 Nexus to make use of that. And there's that Proxy starport. Yet another Vulture drop will be coming out from Light. You guys can see I wasn't just talking out of my butt when I was saying this guy is an absolute staple when it comes to Vulture drops. But look at this Dragoon of Best. He's kind of sharking around and thinking about this idea. I don't think he's going to go south enough to spot this dropship play. But it does seem like he's sniffing it out and is suspecting something from Light.
Another 2 gateway with that Robo. He will have enough to deal with this, but it's really going to come down to the micro. Will he kind of fall flat? Will he stutter with those Dragoons and miss a shot on one of these mines again? Things could go very bad for him if he does make a little bit of a mistake holding this, but he should have everything necessary to stop it.
Yeah, I see Best taking his hand off his keyboard and mouse a little bit, touching his face. Seems a little bit unsettled in the booth right now. Not as in the zone as he should be. I hope he can really stay calm under pressure. Being 2-0 down like this, every mistake is really going to hurt him, because as soon as he loses one more game, he's going to be on match point for the rest of the series, and that's not a place you want to be. That's an even more increasing amount of pressure to have to deal with, and it's one of the hard things in StarCraft is not just performing at the best of your ability, but doing so when you're in like a really hot, steamy kitchen and you're sweating buckets and you can't even think straight. It's not a happy place.
He's gone for 3 gateway observers. So basically the most defensive build you can imagine for a Protoss player. He will have all the tools necessary. Can he block this successfully? He's got Dragoons all over the place, ready to start to stop this. There is that drop coming in now. He's going to get some good damage on it initially. 2 Vultures into the natural, 2 Vultures into the main. Got to target down that mine. Okay, good job actually getting rid of... Oh, wow. Okay, getting on top of this dropship, in fact. He's going to target down the drop. This is perfectly done by Best. Actually, he's going to lose, what, like 3-4 probes total for 4 Vultures and the drop. This is exactly what I like to see out of Best. Perfectly done here. He holds everything.
I'm getting some chills saying, like, I think that was really well held from Best. He just needs to make sure he powers up to this next phase of the game. As long as he can get enough of it, an army production going, that he can start to challenge Light in this mid-game phase. Maybe he's got a strong showing at starting a comeback here. Going to be going up into Reaver Tech this time around. So that's a bit of a deviation from his usual go-to. He's not necessarily the best Reaver control in the world. Someone like Snow is just way better than him, Mini included, but Best can still utilize those critical tech units and slowing down the Terran and doing a lot of damage potential. Oh, Light's going to re-land the starport again. I thought he was going to float that all the way back, but he's actually re-landing it. Is he thinking about making another dropship?
Going for a second dip here, but it's going to be spotted. Oh, boy. The double dip attempt from Light is just not going to work out when Best already knows that this dropship is coming. He will get rid of that mine and then get on top of this starport. Yeah, gonna force that to cancel and might even get the kill on the starport as well, which is super annoying for Light.
Yeah, it's going to be close whether or not you can save that starport. You might just barely get that over to the dead zone where it dies. Does a little vulture run by to this natural third location. Not really getting much done with it, though. When all's said and done, they're still looking pretty good in this game. He's not necessarily looking like he's really ahead on supplies right now, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Light going to be going up into 5 factories worth of production. Best now going online with 6 gateways. Scan comes down into the main base of Best to see the exact tech timing. Sees the Citadel being started as well. So he knows more or less what he can expect from Best in terms of the exact timings. But nowhere near as confident as he was looking in those game numbers 1 and 2. This is the best chance that Best is going to be having going forward here in the series to begin with.
Seems like Light is gearing up. I don't think this is going to be for a 2-base push. He's actually got to take a third here. He's moving towards that third, but it's only 9 minutes in. Things have gone such a way that I really doubt Light's ability to be able to hold a third right now. Best is going to have his 4th base coming up soon. He's got quite a few gateways just now coming online. He will have that zealot speed soon. He is in prime position to break this, I think, Xun.
I think you're right, but with Polestar, it is a little bit difficult to come into this choke. He can just build some supply depots to wall it off and be able to take this base with a slightly less units than usual. So I don't hate this from Light. It does make sense given that it's Polestar. This 3rd base is one of the easiest to take for Terran on pretty much any map in the map pool right now. So I think this is okay from Light, but it does open him up to some counterplay from Best. Shuttle looks like it might be going into the main base. There is a couple of turrets and mines in key positions to block this, and one singular siege tank. It's going to land. The Reaver goes down to the mine. That's huge. Suddenly, Best in a lot of trouble. Shuttle goes down on the exit. That's the worst case scenario. I don't think Best can believe it. That's insane. Losing the Reaver and the Shuttle that early in the game definitely puts Light into a favorable position. About a 6-4 favor position right now. Losing that critical unit early on.
Oh no, Best. Just immediately afterwards adding on a second robo. He is going to double down on shuttle style. That speed shuttle style he's so well known for. Gateway man incoming, boys. We're going to have a lot of gateways coming up here soon. Best is going to start to mass expand, and try to surround and crush Light. He will not be able to break through, I don't think, this third base now that the setup is complete. Look at this setup from Light. Picture perfect, the way that he's got those tanks. Almost like an AI put that together.
It is kind of insane just how well thought out and planned everything is. He's probably mapped out the exact placement of every single building in a single player game versus a computer or something beforehand, and really got things isolated and how he wants everything to be structured and optimized in dealing with someone like Best. He knows just one tiny hole, one tiny building out of place, and the whole Sim City could fall apart. So everything is just so well structured and thought out here from Best. Fifth base coming online at the 12 o'clock, and now that Light is tightened down and got the hatches completely secured, he can start to come out of some vulture raiding parties and be a little bit annoying to Best and force him to stay active and fluid with his Dragoon movements around the map and try and open up some of these positions to squeeze in with his vultures.
Reaver here in the middle, denying some vulture flanks, denying some harassment damage, but still trying to get in here. Honestly, the harassment has been pretty lackluster from Light this game. I really thought that Best was going to start to run away with this, but Light's done a fantastic job just getting in here and holding this third so quickly and then shutting down the counter drops from Best. I mean, this has really gone well for Light, despite this harassment not doing the best.
Right, I kind of feel like Best should be more aggressive with his expansions and maybe taking the top right and putting some gateways down up there and making Light come out onto the map a lot sooner. Light's going to power up to 6 to 7, maybe even 8 factories before thinking about taking his fourth base. That does give a bit of breathing room to Best. He has got this base at the 12 o'clock as his fifth, but it's going to be hard for him to get any more additional gateways out on the map to set up additional rally points. Beautiful scan there from Light, seeing that some shuttles are being loaded up, ready to get the full gateway man in effect. Has got a CC starting to make at his natural, ready to float to this 3 o'clock location potentially. Best is finally now taking that top right like I thought he should, but it's a little bit slow. Would have liked to maybe see him take that as his fifth base and get that going a lot sooner, get some gateways set up there as well. Might still be able to get that underway and get that all set up and start to force Light to come out onto the map and bring the fight to him more.
Best is getting ready for the, look at that, 5 shuttles ready to dive on this, but look at how well spread everything is. Light being so careful with the way he's spreading out his tanks and slowly inching forward. If Best dives on top of this, there are so many tanks behind it as well that are going to mop up a lot of those forces, and so it's very hard for Best to take a decent engagement. He does have a bit of a supply lead right now, starting to lose some of these Dragoons though, and we're getting a counterattack over in top right. Starting to hit this base, a bit of a harassment over there. That's going to throw Best off. Dude, if he goes in for an attack and doesn't clean up those vultures, he could put himself in a really bad position. He actually needs to get over there and deal with this first before thinking about, throwing everything in against Light.
There's a lot of oxygen and breathing room now for Light to get this fourth base more or less uncontested. Best is maxed out, so he can still come in here and do something. Look how well spread all these tanks are. The only thing bad about Light's setup is these mines on top of the tanks to the south, but Best is unlikely to bomb on top of those. These tanks towards the north are probably going to be the targets that are closer to the fourth base. Best wants to see if he can snake in here and drive a wedge between his fourth base location and the rally point of Light. Shuttle starting to bomb in now. Can they get enough drops on top of these siege tanks on that 3 o'clock location? Reaver's here as well to put down some good Scarab connections on those tanks. So far so good for Best. He just needs to kill enough of these tanks that he can get into this 3 o'clock pocket and deny this CC from being able to land.
Some great target firing there from Light, hitting a bunch of those shuttles and taking them out immediately. However, still quite a few of them remain, and now the Goliaths are all gone. So these shuttles could actually start to drop Zealots on top of a lot of these back tanks and start to draw that fire in. Some good storms here in the front as well. Does he have any Zealots in there? That's a pretty clumped group of tanks. Things are starting to get a little sloppy here for Light as this gets more and more chaotic. Can Best climb that ladder of chaos, find a way to get some good storms on these clumps of tanks, and actually take a big fight here, prevent this fourth base from coming up? Or is Light going to get this? It seems like he's going to get this, and Best's going to be forced back. He even kills 3 Templar there on the retreat.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal, saying. I do think that Light is going to secure this 4th base. The question is, has Best bought himself enough time to set up this top right, get another base on that? Okay, now he's taken the natural in the top right as well, going up to about 7 bases worth of economy. Would be pretty huge. Needs to get some gateways in that top right to set up the rally point, so we can also get some high doubles in. Coming in for another round 2 with these Zealot bombs. Or saying some of them are unsieged already. D-Matrix coming out on the periphery tanks. Beautiful storms, though, on those tanks, on their ramps, saying there is so much aggression coming down the line from Best. He should have enough army here to keep Light locked out from this 4th base, it seems. He might just barely get in here. Some beautiful continuation storms on these tanks to the south. There's mostly just Dragoons remaining. Has to be careful with how he moves in to that force. Doesn't want to go too deep into that tank line. Tries to take out the 1 tank left at that 3 o'clock pocket. Is successful in doing so. Now he's trying to get some more forces up there to see if he can get on top of the mineral line, kill some of these SCVs and force the lift off.
It really does seem like he may be able to force that lift off. Tanks are squeezing up here slowly but surely. SCVs are going to come off the line to try and fight this as well. Dragoon's not the best at fighting SCVs. No Zealots there to support them. Best is... he is climbing it. He's doing it, guys. He is making enough chaos here to where Light is starting to fall a little bit apart. He's down to 127 supply. He's sending a lot more SCVs over here, starting to mine out in the main and natural. And so Best is making it happen. It's just he's got to keep it scrappy. He's got to keep on top of Light, and that's what he's doing. He's dropping on top of this high ground once again, just getting in there with the shuttles. Doesn't have a lot of Dragoons behind this, though, and so he won't have a lot of staying power here. He's just going to be able to clear up a few more tanks, and this trade is starting to go Light's way, actually.
Yeah, no, I do feel like Light is holding on pretty good here. It's a really nice idea from Best to try and crack open this egg while he still can. Light is just so efficient with his setup. The tanks were spread apart just enough that the storms were not efficient. He couldn't ever get like 3 or 4 tanks under one storm besides like 1 or 2 times. So really good setup there from Light, avoiding disaster. Now can start to get some map control by laying down mines in the wake of that 4th base. Start to get a bit of a vulture harass going as well. Intercepting the probe transfer to the top right. Pretty good target firing on dealing with those. Kills most of those probes. Best still has a really strong fighting chance. Another 2 shuttles coming in for potential storm drop, but look at Light. Turrets and a Goliath already set up to dispatch that. Has even a vessel there, potentially with EMP, to just bomb those High Templars as they pop out to prevent them from storming his SCV line. He just needs to make sure he doesn't take any damage right now. Light is still razor thin on supply. 136 to a maxed out Best. That's the bare minimum you need as Terran to hold off a maxed out Protoss army. So Light has to be really careful here.
Yeah, that's 60 supply advantage. We see so many Terran players fall apart under this pressure. What Best is able to bring forward, if he's able to crack through Light, he will fall apart like paper. It looks like such a strong defense, so impressive and difficult to bust through, but the moment it starts to fall apart, it really falls apart. He's gonna dive here on top of a bunch of these SCVs. Can he get the big connections on these storms that he's looking for? Storms on top of the tanks at the low ground. Some of the SCVs get stormed as well. Not able to get in there with those Dragoons right now. The supply depot wall is blocking a lot of this stuff out. The Templar do go down as well. Best is kind of throwing a lot of stuff in here, but he is getting some stuff done. He is getting some damage. Retaining the Dragoons is big, though. He needs this for the follow-up attack.
Yeah, I think Best is doing a pretty good job of it. Like, he's siphoning off enough of the forces of Light to kind of keep Light on the back foot and stuck on this 4-base setup. And Best has a lot of bases to work with currently. He's on 7 bases and can keep just bombing in here over and over again, trying to get some storm onto this SCV train. As it evacuates, that's a lot of SCVs going down, saying, and those other SCVs that made it out are on seriously low HP, so a follow-up storm will easily finish those off. And he's starting to pull Light apart. He can't afford to spread himself too thin by keeping more and more units down at this natural 3rd location. He is going to force the lift off, and Light is starting to be completely pulled apart. Best is winning this game right now.
There we go. Best busting through one of these positions. He's found the weak spot in the Terran armor and it cracked open that spot. Oh, just barely not able to get that kill. That's a little bit frustrating for Best. That is a small glimmer of hope for Light. Having that CC alive means he could potentially retake that base, but Things are looking very desperate at the moment. In fact, he will just GG out, regardless of keeping that CC alive. It just wasn't a tenable position. Best cross-map Polestar, he gets his first win.
I'm getting chills saying. I don't know why, but I sense some energy in the air. I really do feel like this could be the start of a comeback for Best, or at the bare minimum, we might be going to Game 6, Game 7. Light, a little slight tilt of his head after that game ended, knew it slipped through his fingers, and sometimes a Terran player is like a medieval knight, completely clad in plate mail armor and seemingly impervious to any kind of incoming blows, but once you knock them down with enough kinetic energy, you just need to pull out your Rondo dagger, stab him in between the gaps of his armor, and you can take them out.
Did find a very nice gap in the armor there, noticing that a lot of the attention was being forced over to the center right. Best looks down to that third base and busts it open, regardless of how strong, how well defended that third base is on Polestar. Best still finds a way to break him open.
Really impressive stuff from Best. I mean, he must have been a little bit psychologically damaged from how those first two games unraveled. But I mean, now this is the big momentum shift he needed. Now he's got his mojo back. Light will be fighting uphill battle after that fact, knowing that he can't just sit back on 4 bases and hope for the best. Best has figured out how to dispatch of Light by being a little bit more aggressive in his economy, taking more and more bases and going up to a really high probe saturation of about 70 or so, and then just keep recycling his army over and over again, keeping the majority of his Dragoons alive and just cycling out the Zealots over and over again, bombing on top of Light left, right, and center, pulling him too thin, making Light focus all of his attention at that fourth base location, then going back to hitting the natural third again. And this is a really well executed win condition there from Best. The next map is also going to be Best pick, which is Eclipse. I'm so stoked for this season and this series, saying I really do feel like this series might go the distance.
It's definitely possible, Xun. Eclipse is a heck of a map. I expect Best to have a really good chance here. He's going to be going into this with some confidence on his comeback path. Guys, we're jumping into this next one. ASL Season 19, Round of 4, Best versus Light game number 4. Here we go. Best the top right, Light bottom left. Was Light getting too predictable with that drop play? 2 times in this series already going for that proxy starport. Best kind of predicted it. He had the Dragoons in the places where they needed to be and absolutely shut down that drop play. Will Light try for it again? This is a tough map. He could be looking for an advantage like that, but will Best fall for it? I just don't see it happening.
No, I don't think Vulture Drop is the idea here for Light. Best could do something crazy, but I don't think we'll also see that. I think Best will play a very straight-up game, knowing that this is a very potent Protoss versus Terran map. Light is a genius, though. He does know how to exploit the terrain. There are some areas on this map, like this pond area outside of the third base, where you can kind of isolate and prevent Protoss from flanking you too heavily, but Best will be able to keep on top of things, track when the Terran player wants to move out, and then pounce when the iron is hot. So I don't necessarily think that Light's going to have an easy time on this map, but if anyone can do it on this map Eclipse, it's going to be him against Best.
Guys, Tyson almost beat Light on this map. That's how crazy this map is. What a ridiculous game we saw there, actually. It really brings back memories from the earlier rounds of this season.
That was insane.
Yeah, what a wild, wild game that was. Tyson somehow managing to throw that away. I hope we don't see a repeat from Best here. Not making any throws, not making any mistakes. If he manages to get a lead, closing that out, bringing us to an even series, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I mean, Best is no Tyson. He will be probably getting a lot more chances in securing a win condition once in that much of a lead. Light, though, somehow managed to thread the needle by sneaking around the bottom side of the map and catching Tyson off guard completely. I doubt Best to be making a mistake like that. Did go for a quick gas steal, which is to be expected on Eclipse. Also getting some good chase micro on this scouting SCV, and has got a gateway in his natural to put on a little bit of quicker pressure with this Zealot timing, knowing that with the gas steal, it's going to be a long time before there's anything to deal with these Zealots besides just Marines and SCVs. So it's going to create a little bit of ladder out of chaos for himself to climb. See if he can get in here and do some significant damage with some micro.
There's a few different ways to play out this map. Most of them involve gas steal, and this time's not going to be any different. Best going for that Zealot pressure. Will be able to get up here. Light, one of those extremely strong Terran players, and one of the most notable things about these players, the caliber of Light, is their amazing SCV control, their ability to block with that clumsy unit and keep them in front of these Marines, which are so easily killed. They're so fragile. He's not been able to keep that other SCV, though, on the right-hand side. That one's not in front, and so he will actually get on top of this. Can he get any kills on these Marines, though? Wow, every Marine survives. That's kind of crazy, Xun.
It is kind of crazy. The fact that Light... Oh, he does get two, though. Light needs to be careful. It was seriously ballsy of Light to just set up this bunker like this and just hope that his micro was going to be good enough in avoiding disaster. So far, so good. This Zealot should go down to these last two remaining Marines. He can do a run by with this second Zealot. SCV blocking on the ramp, though, helping shave off the remainder of those shields while this other Zealot is finally going to go down in the main base. There might be some hope for this last remaining Zealot to do something to Light, but he has done a really stellar job in controlling these Marines in the early game. Not many Terrans have this much confidence with their early game defense. Best does manage to find an SC Marine kill, though, with that Zealot, so it's not all for nothing, this initial Zealot pressure.
Will go down in the end, but Best putting on some good pressure here. Gas is online now. It's been slowed down a bit, but also Light started his CC pretty early. This is, I would say, a reasonably even game at this point. Best and Light, they're going to be having a good fight here on Eclipse.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is probably one of the best case scenarios here for Light without just killing all the Zealots for free. It definitely didn't take too much damage to that pressure. And interestingly enough, Best is going to kind of surprise Light by having another two Zealots suddenly try and do a run by and get into the main base right as these factories are about to finish up, and there won't actually be any vultures ready to deal with these. So this might be the thing that catches Light with his pants down if he's not prepared. Look at this SCV scout. He's going to spot that coming in, and we'll have a great reaction time to body block those Zealots now with his SCVs. So won't have to worry about being quick on the reaction time. So Best cannot commit to that anymore.
Yeah, he's actually got to kind of get out of here with these two Zealots. A Vulture's going to be on the way soon. In fact, he skipped the Vulture in favor of a add-on first, so he won't have that Vulture super quick to get out on the map. Gonna go for the tank instead. Second factory just finishing up here. I believe we got Armory Academy on the way. I believe that was an Armory as well as Academy.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, pretty safe build here from Light.
Your three main choices of tech as Terran: the eBay, the Academy, and the Armory. And it's a matter of what order you get those things in. You can usually only afford two. So when you've got good scouting information, being able to skip over that eBay and going straight into Academy Armory is super optimized. But you have to be confident when you go for it and know that there's nothing that's going to blindside you, like a really quick DT timing.
Well, let's see what Best decides to do here. He's got the second gas online. He's only gone for a few gateways. We are going to be seeing a base, I think, coming up from him over at this third here shortly. Light planning to send this SCV in. He really wants to get an idea of what's going on before he starts using up these scans. Make sure that he's not going to get blindsided by a DP. Tries to get into that natural, sees the 3 Zealot plus two Dragoons. May even get a scout over here at this Nexus. In fact, he will see the Nexus coming up here just before the 7-minute mark. Not the craziest Nexus from Best, so Light probably not going to have a 2-base timing to just break him wide open, but he is getting a good scout and figuring out exactly what's on the way here.
And Best is playing super safe. He's going for free gate Observer, which is basically the most cookie cutter Protoss versus Terran build you can go for. It's pretty much safe against everything, but it's not optimal versus everything. So it's a very middle of the road way of playing this match. Oh, he's actually going to cancel the eBay. I think after scanning the 3-gate obs, he's just going to optimize his build order a little bit more. The Observer going to try and come in here. He could scan and kill this Observer with the Goliath if he wants to. He's going to maybe try and attempt that now.
I think he just used the second scan. I believe he did.
Did he use both? Okay.
I believe he did, but
maybe just trying to fake out Best.
I could be wrong. Yeah, maybe just trying to force a reaction there out of Best to run away. But you know, Best has already seen everything. He's seen the 5 factory. He knows what's coming here. Engineering Bay going to be started now after being canceled just a few moments ago. Wanted to get those factories going first though. And we're going to see what could be a big push from Light. That seems surprising to me. You think he just takes another base here on 5 factory, or is he actually going to try and do some sort of a push?
I mean, he scouted the 3-gate Robo. I doubt he's feeling super confident about a push. I think it's much more likely he tries to take a third with this 5 factory.
That's what I'm thinking as well. There's going to be a lot of Dragoons out here. And he has a lot of potential. Like, this wasn't a super fast Nexus. This wasn't a crazy greedy Nexus from Best. He's getting that online now. He's got plenty of units out here. It would be pretty crazy for Light to just go for a huge 2-base timing, especially knowing how powerful Best is against those type of plays.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, 3 scans to try and kill one of these Observers and doesn't even get it. So that's a little bit of a win for Best. Forcing out 3 scans. Oh, he finally does get the Observer on the afterthought. It's actually kind of interesting because there's a bit of RNG factor in that scan. It has a random time between 9 and 11 seconds. So sometimes you're counting for like 9-10 seconds in your head and you think you're safe, and it lasts for a little bit longer and they get a bit of residual scanner vision, so they can still pop that Observer in the end.
Yeah, just one of the funky quirks of Brood War. Scan timer lasts a slight bit longer than Best was expecting, and he loses that Observer. Although, you know, Light definitely committed a lot of resources to taking that off. Definitely deserved to at least finish it. Now, oh, the first Reaver shot is pretty darn good, but he's going to take 2 more hits. Woo! Ooh, that was super close. Surprised he didn't drop that Reaver there just in case that shuttle ended up dying, but he took a lot of damage, and looks like Light is going to sneak around the bottom side. Look at him trying to be a sneaky boy, get over here to the bottom lane and slip past Best. Best going to be on top of that. He's going to block this off at the pass. Wow. He does lose a bunch of Dragoons there, though. Trying to get back up that ramp wasn't the best trade there for Best. Coming down this ramp now. Shuttle going to drop on top of this. This is so stacked up. This mine connection, oh my god, huge mine! Huge mine connection in the middle.
Mine. Big mistake from Light not to kill his own mine in that situation. That's going to be all Best needs, to pounce on that force and completely smack it down. It's a nice idea from Light to try and attack on that axis. It is safer to attack on this southern vector and get up to a wing condition outside the natural expansion where there's cliff edges. Very hard for the Protoss player to dislodge that once that entrenched position is set up. But Best is no Tyson. He was, oh, careful with the Reaver, please. Doesn't manage to lose that just yet. Best is being super cocky by using the Reaver to mine sweep and clear out those mines for his Dragoons, so he can finally start to get another 4th base online. But after losing that many tanks, it's going to be very difficult for Light to make up the difference in this game and turn it back into a victory for him. It's definitely going to be probably Best game to lose. Hopefully he doesn't make any critical errors to throw this from now, but definitely a very sizable advantage for Best to work with.
Absolutely. This 3rd base is coming online now. It's just past the 11-minute mark, so not the latest 3rd base in the world, but he's stretching himself pretty thin on a very low number of tanks. A full 50 supply advantage right now for Best. He's going to extend that even further as he really gets into his macro. And Light, there's a chance he just gets busted wide open on 3 bases. These 3 bases are very far from each other. It's one of the things that makes Eclipse so difficult in TVP, is just the distance from this ramp to your natural expansion is just so far. There's tons of space for the Protoss player to attack into. It's very hard to cover it all, and there's a really good opportunity here for Best to break that open. Double shuttle production. Plenty of Reavers going to be coming out. He's going to have Storm on the way here shortly as well. This is looking pretty good for Best. Let's see if he can end things right here, right now. 60 supply advantage now, Xun.
Yeah, he could potentially just bowl Light over. Light's going to have to put all of his eggs into one basket at this pond location, as we see on screen here. He can start to use that little turtleneck to funnel things in and put a stranglehold on the Protoss forces as they come in, but it might not be enough still. Best could pull the trigger and just absolutely obliterate that tank line. Just loading up shuttles and almost maxed out. Probably thinking about going for an attack, or at least trading off some of these tanks with some form of attack vector along this center lane, and trying to get as much damage as possible while he still can, utilizing this maxed army and the fact that Light is still trailing behind in supply just a little bit. Light has got a pretty strong fortified position. All the tanks are spread. He's going to start to clear through this minefield now. Zealots come in. Pretty big mine connections on those Zealots will thin them out. Here comes the big massive Zealot bombs on those tanks. Even a Reaver and Storms included with this. Pretty big splash damage coming down onto this Terran metal to start chewing through it. Is there enough here for Best to go all the way and take out this third? It looks like the answer might be yes. There are some vultures on this high ground to help out and buffer against these Zealots, but not enough. He will get on top of all of those tanks and eviscerate them. Best is probably going to take down Light right now.
Yeah, he's getting on top of this high ground, and there it is. Oh my goodness. Best is doing it, boys. He's brought it back. We are 2-2 in this series. I couldn't be more excited. This is amazing.
I'm so excited, saying, oh, the boy is doing it. He's never been through to the finals of ASL. Could this be his time to shine? He's currently equalized this series 2-2 right now, 2-2. Can he keep it up? Can he maintain this momentum? His mojo is finally online. He's in that ebb and flow, found his flow state. Light kind of bungled this attack, pushing along this sneaky vector. He knows there's a good win condition. If he does get up to this point here we're looking at now on the screen, that's where he's aiming for. If he gets set up there in an entrenched position, he can checkmate Best, but that one mine he should have killed with his own vulture. Look at this connection. It's absolutely insane. 3 tanks, boom. Crazy from Best to spot that with his observer and get in on top of that while he still could. While Light was kind of going for this gambit play, he should have probably just taken this third base, but maybe that's what he was thinking. He was thinking Best expects me to expand right now, so I'm going to try and surprise him like I dispatched Tyson and sneak around to this bottom lane and make something happen that way on this disadvantaged map. Now, the series is tied up, and the next map is going to be Light's pick, so certainly the series isn't over yet, but that's a big win for Best.
Light was swelling with confidence in that push after killing off those 3 Dragoons that got caught running down the ramp, but Light looks the strongest when he's able to split his tanks beforehand and has everything spread out really nicely. This time, though, just wasn't ready for that. He didn't have that spread. He didn't have those tanks in a good position there. They were so stacked up on top of each other. The Zealot bombs did their work, and Best does what he does best, guys. Busts through a Terran who's getting a little over-eager with their 2-base push.
Yeah, Light could have avoided that disaster by targeting his own mine with a vulture shot and preventing that bomb from even occurring. Wasn't quite on top of his execution there, unfortunately. It was a nice idea from him, but it kind of fell through, flat on his face. He's going to have to dig deep here and not get too phased by the fact that he's just lost 2 games in a row. Someone like Best could go the distance against him, regardless of how much experience he's got. This is going to be an insane series. I imagine this is going to go all the way to Game 7.
Apologize, guys. We aren't able to show the promos. There it is. I thought it was... I thought we were done a while ago. Guys, thank you for all the gifts. Thank you for the 50 gems. And just a reminder, 50 gems gets you a entry to win one of these ASL jackets. There's 2 ASL jackets for this giveaway. And each donation of 50 gems or 1 gifted sub will give you an entry. We're going to give away, Soup is going to give away 1 jacket to the winner of the draw for gifted subs and 1 ASL jacket to the winner of the giveaway for those gems, guys. So enter if you haven't already. And I believe it's going to be ended on the final day of ASL this season. I'll get that confirmation for you here in a moment. But I believe it's on the 25th. The 25th is going to be the last day, guys, here in May.
Yeah, you can only get that raffle ticket during one of these live events that you're taking a part in right now. And if you are on YouTube watching this belatedly, go over and support us on superlive.com/SCTVEN. Hang out in the chat, throw a donation our ways to enter that raffle, or just come and hang out and have some good times. We always just pop in with how good these games have been in ASL this season. Definitely one of the best seasons we've had in maybe 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely. We've been having a lot of fun. This has been a fantastic season to start on, Xun, and I hope we're going to see many in the future as well.
Oh, absolutely, Saiyan. I've been really stoked about this. I can't even wait to cast it when it comes around time for it. Like, I feel like I've said before in previous casts, it's like being a kid at Christmas yet again. I can't wait to wake up in the morning and open my presents to the point where I'm having a difficulty sleeping.
Say hello to YouTube, guys. I've pulled up the chat here. Everyone on Soup right now. You guys can communicate. Let them know how great of a time you're having here in the live chat. We're going to be back in just
YouTube, boys.
We're going to be back in just another minute here, guys. We're going to jump into our next game. Dominator Set 5 is coming right up. Yes. Best. I love that. I love that sign. That is amazing. They're showing it again.
I love it, man.
He is the
I'm
Lord.
super stoked.
The savior of Protoss. Maybe.
All praise best. He's going to be the one, guys. He might be breaking through to the finals, and it could be a Protoss versus Protoss finals against Snow, all that best versus Sulky action. Who knows? But he's still got to overcome Light. But, you know, he's made Light bleed. Light rarely shows emotion, but Best has been able to do it here today, Saiyan.
He's at least been able to re-seize that momentum, take it away from Light, and it'll start this comeback, right? He's now on Light's pick, Dominator. It's basically a best of 3 from here. We'll see who can close this one out. Dominator, Radion, Metropolis. I like Radion and Metropolis as these 2 final maps. Big open maps, lots of play for either player. TVP, such a crazy matchup. Guys, we're going into this one. We got best versus light game number 5. Let's get it started. Best. Center right, light. Bottom left. Here on Dominator. This has given us some of the greatest games of this season. Xun, this has been such an awesome map to have. This 3-player map has really delivered.
I love this map, Sam. It's one of my favorite 3v3 maps of all time. And I have to say, light is so good on it. Like, we used to think this was a Protoss favored map because of these pizza slices and the high to low ground transitions, and we thought that maybe Protoss players could abuse that too much, especially with the low ground main base maybe being a bit exploited by pressure plays from the Protoss as well. But someone like Light, he figured out early on, hang on a minute, I can just kind of bypass these pizza slices and set up attack vectors from the center of the map. I don't really need to worry about that too much. And definitely some of these more intelligent Terran players have been able to figure out how to mitigate any of the issues on this map, and instead now can really exploit it and get some good wins under their belt.
And guys, mind you, Light was good on this map even before the changes. Just a quick note that this map has been altered from its original state. Now you can build a bit farther out onto the pizza slice in front of your natural, and there's this wall which actually kind of hinders the Terran a little bit, but only in certain situations. Probably not in this game because the wall is actually over further on Best's side of the map. It's not in the push path of Light, and so you know, he's getting all the benefits here and none of the drawbacks of the new changes.
Yeah, that high ground makes it a little bit harder to just, you know, lay siege to the gateways from the mineral-only location. Won't be much of a factor here with Light spawning in the bottom left. It would be if it was the other way around and Light was in the top left and he was attacking from that vector. As it stands, though, it does make it a little bit easier now with these map changes to take this mineral-only by being able to snake out some turrets further onto that pizza slice. So Light figured out how to play on this map before those changes, so now he's going to have an even easier time on navigating it.
We saw for a while a lot of players going for 2-factor on this map just because it seemed like they didn't like to play on it, but Light seems to have the best idea of how to handle Protoss here. What I've seen from him the most notable thing, I think, is the way that he pushes through the middle of the map so decisively. He goes out into the middle and then sends off small pockets of units after kind of bunkering down there in the center. Makes it so hard for the Protoss to break in there, and then he starts to send off little channels of army into different directions to start taking out the bases at the other ends of the map, make it difficult for the Protoss to go running around trying to shut down those attacks, and it ends up pulling them piece by piece apart at the seams. Best here gonna push this SCV out of his main at first with this first Dragoon. You can see he's gone up to something like a 21 Nexus here rather than the much earlier Nexus in that last game.
Yeah. I mean, 23 Nexus is the standard timing, so he's being a teeny tiny bit greedy by taking it here. But he's got a good scout off. He knows this isn't going to be anything too crazy out of Light to be worried about needing an early game defense with more Dragoons and what have you. All needs to be careful not to take too much damage on this Goon for free. Ideally, he would love to come in here with this Dragoon and get a full scout off and see the command center, maybe pick off an SCV. He's not going to be able to get that SCV at least, though. Pretty good micro from Light, putting some damage onto that Dragoon and taking a more forward position on his pizza slice so that the Dragoon couldn't come into that natural and confirm the timings of that CC.
Vulture roaming around the top side, looking for an opportunity to maybe slip by, but Dragoons are present. Oh, okay. Dragoon on the ramp. Can he block this in and get some damage on it? Light playing it fast and loose, a bit risky there. Sending that Vulture in, but he does get out without taking hardly any damage and can loop around now to look for those mines.
Yeah, and Best's going to be going for one of these new meta things of just going straight into a robo off one gateway to optimize their timings a little bit and get the second gateway a tiny bit slower Does allow you to get that observer out super early if you want to and get a full scout off on the Terran player before that turret ring can be set up and identify exactly what the tech path is going to be from Light. Like they've actually cancelled that bunker so we can afford maybe a few more units and put on some pressure here. Getting a pretty fast second factory as a follow-up and wants to see if he can surprise Best and make the most of the fact that Best might have been cutting on his production a little bit and only has 3 Dragoons to defend.
Seems like Best should have enough here, especially with the high ground really going to be helping out his defense. 3 Dragoons.
Well,
not quite the right number, but
he
should have a 4th here shortly.
This force is just to escort the vultures and guarantee mines being set up for free at these 3rd base and 4th base locations. If Best did split up his Dragoons to defend these mines from being planted, Light would be able to seize an opportunity to isolate 1 or 2 of those Dragoons as they get split up in defending against that. So this is more just like an escorting force from Light to put on a little bit of pressure and make Best unable to stop these mines from going down.
A lot of the times with a play like that, we see the Terran able to get their mines right in front of the natural, though. Best with this pizza slice holding on to that high ground and not allowing Light to get right up in his face. The first observer going to come out here. 1 Dragoon sent out. He's very aware of the possibility of Light going for a counterattack right now, so he doesn't want to commit too many forces to clearing out these mines at all, keeping most of his stuff in that natural. He doesn't have a pylon wall just yet. He's actually setting up, making sure there's no sort of drop coming in as well. He's got his Dragoons really spread out. Light is actually going to go in for attack, and the observer misses this right now. He doesn't see this attack coming in. Oh my goodness, this could be really scary for Best. If he loses control of this high ground right away, this could be quite bad for him.
This is a very strong 3-gate, a 3-tank push that's coming out from Light right now. Best sees everything in the main base, but has no idea exactly what's coming down from this army. Now sees the bad news that there's a lot of armies streaming into this high ground location. He will be able to mine up the high ground just as the Dragoons are starting to respond. There's a little run by into natural as well, killing quite a few probes, while most of the forces of Best are going to get on top of one of these tanks and take them down. But now he's in trouble. He's probably going to have to cancel this Nexus at this rate. Does manage to shut down those vultures. It is natural, but this is a pretty sizable victory for Light going forward, being able to shut down this Nexus. Best is like kind of desperate to respond to this. He wants to get up onto this high ground and defend this at all costs. He's trying to isolate these tanks and pick them off with some good base disruption shots, but so far Light doing a great job of body blocking those Dragoons, preventing them from getting near too deep. He is flanking with 1 or 2 Dragoons to get this other tank that's in a deeper pocket position. Best might just barely defend this. So many mines have been laid. There are observers to spot for this, but good target firing from Light is making short work of those Dragoons despite that fact.
Dude, that was such a good play by Best to throw down the pylon wall just there. He would have lost so many probes if he hadn't done that. As it stands, he should be able to get enough Dragoons out here. He is losing a few more than he'd like to. Of course, there's just so many vultures rallying here, but that play with the pylon, absolutely clutch. This is something I've been talking about in the past with these Protoss players. Right as all this aggression is going on, it's so smart to throw down a pylon like this. And yeah, he does it again, just keeping Light out of his business and keeping that probe count high.
Yeah, he's keeping himself in the game, but I would also say that Light had a pretty good early game showing with that force. The only thing going bad for Light is that he did lose 3 tanks when all said and done. He's going to kill 1 or 2 more probes, so he's trying to intercept the transfer in the nick of time, trying to get anything he can scrambled to compensate for that 3-tank loss while taking his own 3rd base behind this. I'm not sure how confident he's feeling. Another pylon will going to be set up here at this ramp. This other pylon at the bottom is seriously weak, though. Maybe Light's feeling like he can break through it with some vultures and get in there. It's seriously close to going down. Just 2 more volleys, and he can get that vulture in. 1 more shot. He is going to get in there and kill some probes.
Oh my goodness, that's a pretty difficult mistake there for Best. Does get rid of it with some probes being pulled off the line, but any hiccup to the economy right now is a real pain. Looks like Light gonna take this 3rd CC on location. That's kind of crazy, Xun. Taking that 3rd CC right now is a little wild after losing tanks early and being forced back. If Best finds out about that, he should be able to force a cancel.
He's about to spot it now with the observer just chilling out over in that 9 o'clock location. Sees the news. Now the Dragoons will shark around to that location and try and see if he can drive a wedge up there before the tanks can get up there. Looks like he's not pulling the trigger on that soon enough, though. 2 tanks will make their way up to that high ground to begin fortifying that. Light might want to consider even making supply depots or something to wall off that top ramp to prevent a flank from coming in and disrupting him later on. It is 5 factory to 5 gateways, so it does favor the Terran player right now in terms of unit production. It's like best content just to sit back and take a 10-minute fourth here and play a bit more of a passive. Oh, a double robo! So we're going to be seeing crazy speed shuttle play coming out for him this game.
Yeah, he's been going for this double robo a lot so far in this series. The double robo, definitely a strong play for Best, really in his wheelhouse for sure. This is what we like to see from him, just that ape strength, putting together a massive army and busting through what Light brings to the table. But, I mean, this is such a fast third, man. He's going to have a lot here. He's going to have the best possible chance of actually holding off against something like this. And, man, he's even going to get some more probes here in the natural. This is a great dive by. Going to get a bunch of probes here, a bunch of kills, slowing down Best and really gathering that momentum.
Yeah, it's great that he's got this other pylon wall and this northern ramp at the natural third, or he could have lost a lot more probes as well. Best a little bit frustrated that he's taken that much damage. It does slow down his production just a little bit and allows more breathing room for Light to throw down more and more factories, get his tech online. We see the starport setting up now, which means he will only be on 1-1 upgrades for quite a while, but he will have a pretty hefty amount of units to defend with. So Light going to be playing a bit more of a passive style, just sitting back waiting for those upgrade timings and relying on a really high count of units to hold the lines against Best.
Light is absolutely cooking right now. He's getting in there and dealing that damage at the same time, getting these bases online and hitting his upgrade timings as well. There's some more harassment going down at this 4th base. Trying to get in here. 2 turrets perfectly positioned to block this out. Best is not going to find any counter damage at all. Another CC is coming up. He's going to go ahead and take this mineral only and look for that 2-1 timing most likely.
Yeah, Best's going to be taking his own 5th base right around the time that CC is starting. So the curve of the game is pretty even, but pretty Light favored with all that probe damage that has occurred. And does have a lot of factory production behind this to keep up with Best, so that he's not necessarily at risk of getting bowled over anytime soon. Looks like Light even thinking about getting some map control set up, laying down some mines in the center of the board, covering his flank to open up an opportunity to push on this horizontal axis when he desires. But for the time being, he just wants to get this 4th base up and running and slowly but surely max out, or waiting for those upgrades to come online. It will be a little bit longer for that +2 weapons to finish than usual because of how late the starport is, but it doesn't really matter. He's got so many units to work with that he can still trade well.
Is going to catch a few of these Dragoons over here, trying to get more bases online right now. Best needs to keep expanding, keep growing, but it's hard to get a location to start adding on more gateways. One of the critical factors, one of the critical parts of this build, going for double robo, is getting extra locations for more gateways online to set up at other locations to start macroing out of and having other rally points rolling. But Best has to get all the way up into top left to even get that started, and so it's going to be a while here before he can get one of those bases online, and by that time Light will be set up and ready for this upcoming push. He's got a lot of units here in the main right now. Doesn't need everything at the front just yet, but he will have to bring everything out here soon because Best is macroing like crazy. It's hard for me to believe that Light is still almost on par with Best in terms of supply. That is wild, and I don't know if Best can actually crack him open this time. He is the comeback kid, but you know, maybe this is just too much metal. This is too much armor.
Well, he's playing a lot wider than he is deep because of how slow the tech has been. So there's a lot of units for Light, but a little bit lagging behind in those upgrades. Or maybe Best can intercept this dropship. That's a big deal. If he does connect with that and he does pick off that, that's a big win for Best going forward, denying that harassment potential. It's going to start clearing out some of these mines on the map as well, limit the vision and flank coverage of Light so that Best can keep setting up more and more expansions on this northern hemisphere on this map, and maybe eventually Best can overcome Light by, you know, starving him out from taking too many additional bases. But so far so good for Light. He's very even on supply. He's a little bit lagging behind in his tech and upgrades, but that might not be too much of a factor. He can start to launch attacks from this center of the board soon, as long as he covers his flanks appropriately. It'd be very difficult for Best to get cost-efficient trades against him.
Dude, this is exactly what Light does, man. I love to see it from him, crawling slowly into the middle of the map. He's going to utilize all these walls and corners as soon as possible to start making kind of an invulnerable location for Best to try and break through. Best is actually going for this third. Dude, he's going to hit this hard, and he's got some storms in here, I can assure you of that. No, Reaver, actually. Okay, Reaver is going to go to work here. Doesn't quite have the storms online just yet, otherwise they would definitely be here by now. Zealots jumping on top of some of these tanks. Some SCVs have gone down as well. This is a big sacrifice, throwing away this many shuttles at this point in the game.
Well, he's already maxed out, so he's probably just thinking to himself, you know, I'll sacrifice a few shuttles worth of units and, you know, macro out those and try and keep Light pinned back and responding to threats. Gives me a chance to also get out onto the map with some more of these Dragoons and keep mine sweeping, opening up the flanks for further counterattacks, and try and keep Light busy on his side of the map while Best sets up more and more bases. Although now the 2-1 upgrades have finished for Light and we're at 180 supply, so this is go time for Light to start coming out onto the map in a big way and putting on a lot of pressure onto Best.
Yeah, Best is going to fall back as soon as the tank siege up. Making some space for them, has a lot more shuttles, man. I was worried about him wasting shuttles. He's got so many shuttles here to work with. That's crazy. Like 5, 7 shuttles, somewhere around there. Who's counting? Throwing them all together, and he's ready to dive on top of this tank push. It's moving up to prevent this secondary expansion, or this secondary rally point from being set up for Best. Going all the way around, actually. Oh my god, he's just going to go for this third base again.
I think so. I don't think there's enough units there. There was no... The mine spotted those shuttles come in last time, so Light could respond preemptively. This time around, he has no idea about it, so a lot of damage could go down. Has got some storm in this army. Doesn't yet get... Oh, he does do a pretty good Sonic Storm. Those SCVs are now on like 10, 20 HP, so the next follow-up storm drop will do a lot of damage. Light, though, trying to seize the opportunity and push on this horizontal axis. EMPs do come down on some of these high Templars, reducing the splash damage potential on getting compensation against this push. Best in a little bit of trouble now, scrambling for defense. Does get 1 or 2 storms off on this army of Light, but it's not quite enough to keep it at bay. Light is going to keep hammering down on Best's door right now. But with this kind of move out, he is clumping his tanks quite heavily. Best could bomb this. If he gets a few more shuttles and a few more Templars out, he should be able to defend, but Light is trying to seize the tempo away from Best before the additional macro cycles can come online.
That counterattack was fantastic. Oh my gosh, he almost get the mine. Oh, the mine connections are pretty good. And he is able to just bomb indiscriminately now with these shuttles on top of the tanks. More Zealots coming out. He did a great job of cleaning out most of the Vultures with the early storms. Actually cleared out so many of those, and now it's just pure Zealot on top of tank. He's getting on top of all of this. He's actually clearing out so many tanks right now, and there's still no third base.
This is crazy. I mean, Light is about to become mined out in his main. He's on like 1.5 worth of 1.5 bases worth of economy because of this 9 o'clock being sandbagged. Look how many units are over at this 9 o'clock as well. Like, Light can't afford to commit units in retaking that. That means then he has to completely abandon his attack efforts, and he is going to do that. He's going to come up here and try and EMP some of these high Templars to retake this base up in this 9 o'clock pocket. But Best is still going to get some Sonic Storms off on those tanks and make it a little bit problematic to coming into a beautiful EMP, gets all but one of those Templars, so we still will see 1 or 2 storms come out from him to try and prevent that 9 o'clock being retaken. But I don't know, man. I'm really liking this game for Best so far. He's making a really good, strong showing on Dominator, which was Light's pick. If Light doesn't win this game, Best could be taking the whole series.
Dude, this counterattack was looking so scary from Light. There was almost nothing in the rally point for Best except for a shuttle and a few Templar inside. He managed to just spray down a huge amount of vultures and then overwhelm with those zealots. Really impressive stuff from Best. The hold was crazy. He didn't lose a single base, Xun. Not even one base was lost by Best. That attack was meant to kill. It was going for the throat.
Oh, absolutely. He's got like 4 or 5 fresh bases to work with behind this. Here comes the big attack to try and kill as much of the Terran metal as he can. There's not that many tanks in this line. He is holding this really tricky to attack into entrenched position with all these little high grounds positions funneling the Protoss. So Best can't break this position open, but he can try and kill as many of these tanks as possible. Light, though, doing a really great job of holding line. These 4 tanks to the north are really well positioned. Light knows how to abuse terrain pretty much better than any other Terran player on the planet, and during all of that chaos, he is sneaking this base up online in this northwestern pocket. There is an observer to spot that, though, so Best can now think about seeing if he can get up there to shut this down.
That was a crazy attack from Best. Wasn't really necessary to throw all of that stuff into such a tight location. It feels like exactly what Light wanted from him, and he kind of gave him the fight that he wanted. Now he's only 20 supply behind. Light is going to get harassed by this Dark Templar, but he should be able to get this base online, and Best just doesn't have the mass right now to bust through any of these spots. Light is getting the game that he wants after that insane hold from Best, that crazy defense and damage that was dealt. This is still anybody's game, guys. This is not over by any means.
Yeah, there was not enough tanks killed in that last attack from Best. He's kind of reset the game state a little bit here for Light, giving him a lot more breathing room to produce more units and get back to a more stabilized position. Some speed shuttles coming into this new base that's set up for this 5th base at the top left. Some storm is in here. Can he get some good sonic storms? It looks like he's doing a delayed storm on these SCVs. Wants to be careful not to whiff that. Is going to be forcing a lot of lost mining time here for Light, and force a lot of the army to come up here and clean this up. And now that's going to trigger another attack from Best to hit on his horizontal axis and keep dragging Light around to and fro and keep Light on his side of the map distracted. Here comes some more speed shuttles to try and bomb on top of these units as Light's going with beautiful mine drags, clearing out some of those tanks. He can get onto this high ground if he wants to keep challenging Light, but it's a better idea just to pull out and not keep sacrificing his army and giving Light those valuable trades, and meanwhile is denying any mining from going up at that 5th base location. 10 kills on that Zealot, Saiyan.
Some big EMPs went down on the whole army there. Light just happy to EMP anything, and Best just backs away after delving in a little too deep. Doesn't want to contest that whole tank line. You can see this position right there. It's just so filthy where all those tanks are just to the north of the screen, but it doesn't matter if you can't keep your bases alive, if you can't keep your SCVs mining. So many kills there over at that 4th base, excuse me, 5th base over top right. Oh, good probe catch there. Moving along this side, Best gets caught, loses a lot of that income, but he has eclipsed Light in supply. Just the positioning is so fantastic. Light is in the perfect spot. How do you break through this?
It's really difficult, Saiyan. He might be able to make it happen if he gets a good flank from the north as well, but Light is really entrenched himself. Look at how Light abuses the geometry of this map and utilizing the center of the board to the best of his abilities. It's going to be very difficult for Best to come in here and deal with that. He's going to want to try and just screen this army and keep it back as long as possible and try and play keep away of some sonic storms. Beautiful EMPs, though, coming out again and again, taking away most of the juice away from Best and continuing that storm effort. There are some speed shuttles sharking around the map right now, trying to get on top of any units to this northern hemisphere and cut off any potential of Light securing these expansions. He's going to come in and take out this 9 o'clock base potentially, and then he could rotate back to this the 5th base pocket up here as well, with some units training up here. There's not much to defend besides some turrets, so if Best shuts down these 2 mining bases, that will not be much more income for Light to work with. He has to pull back his forces from the front line, so Best is defending indirectly right now. Really well played from Best.
Oh, I love this from Best. He's saying, I'm not going to fight you in that little corridor there that you've set up for me. I'm just going to go around. I'm going to look for locations where you're not defending properly. And then we're going to drop some storms here, lay down some excellent storms on these defending units, kill as many SCVs as possible. Dude, he's got nothing left. GG. Oh, my goodness. Light collapses over to the side. Dude, this guy, he is the premier Terran on Dominator. This guy, this is his map pick. This is his map, and he was just taken out by some amazing play from Best. No freaking way, dude. Best is in a lead.
I'm getting such nerd chills. Saying I don't get tingles like this pretty much any other time in my life besides when I'm watching this kind of intense ASL match. Only players like Best and Light can really get my mojo going. This is such a spectator feast for me to just devour right now. I can't even believe that I'm here able to cast this for you guys. It's a real treat to see someone like Best making a God Terran bleed in such a way and actually showing a lot of motion here today. Is Light unable to keep his composure, dealing with the absolute ape Protoss that is Best. He does everything that a fundamental Protoss should do, and he does it so well. It's kind of insane how he's able to be king of the jungle in that fashion and rip his opponent's limbs off and beat them to death with him.
He really does it better than anybody else. Putting together those giant armies of Dragoons, Zealot, Templar, and Shuttles, breaking through these tank lines, what seems like an impossible hold or an impossible attack position to break. Best looks at it as just another day, just another meal for him to devour. Excellent, excellent job by him. Now we've got Best in the lead. Man, I have to start cheering for Light so we can get into a game 7, dude. I want to see Metropolis.
I hope it's going to go to Game 7. We see Metropolis. But next map is Best pick, guys. I mean, on Radiant. This is... I don't even know. I mean, can Light hold it down and take it the distance and get into Game 7? I'm not so sure anymore. Best just looks like he's got all the answers for Light's play. And Light was playing so good in that game. It's not like Best is just dominating Light. Light is playing some of the best Terran versus Protoss we've ever seen. It's just that Best is so good at finding the win conditions in the darkest of corridors and able to circumnavigate disaster and avoid head-on collisions with Light just when he needs to, and instead sneaking around the side and cutting off the economy of Light when the right timing, and Light's consolidated all of his forces on that front line and then has to pull back to defend against the shenanigans of Best. And just when he does that, Best can go to clean up on aisle 5 with his rallied units and keep crippling the tank count, as well as getting a lot of damage done by storming those SCVs over and over again. Just really stellar stuff from Best and understanding what he needs to do at every point of transition.
If we really want to look at a highlight from that game, right as the drop came in on that 3rd base and Light had the massive army, he had all the upgrades, he had everything going for him, and he tried to push into that natural. Best held with a skeleton crew of army at that natural rally point. Barely anything on that high ground, just a few storms, a few Templar, even had EMP did Light. Threw down those EMPs, it still wasn't enough, wasn't able to get up there. The storms on the vultures were insanely good. The multitasking was fantastic, and even though Light wasn't challenging that, he wasn't challenging the 3rd base, he wasn't like really multitasking on those 2 fronts, he was just focused on that attack, still not able to get on top of the rally point, and from there, Best had a great spot. Dude, this is heating up. Guys,
it is.
Tell your friends. Let everybody know. This series is absolutely insane. We cannot wait to see what happens and who ends up making their way into that finals. Either player would be fantastic for me. And then we're going to go and see Snow versus Solky tomorrow, 7 p.m. Korean Standard Time, guys. That's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, too. So much history between those two. This is one of the best finals ever, guys. Almost no chance of getting a mirror matchup here, too, by the way. PvP, that is a that's very unlikely, but it could happen. It still could happen. All right, we're jumping in, guys.
Oh my god, guys. ASL Season 19, Round of 4, Best versus Light. Could be match point for our Protoss player. Let's get it on. It's going to be best map pick, Radiant.
Best. Spawning here in the bottom right, we got Light. Top right on Radion. One of the biggest maps we have. One of the longest rush distances. This one, not quite as long, but not the shortest either. We don't have cross map this time, at least. Light, can he make it work here? Can he bring us to a game number 7? Or is Best going to smash his way to that finals? Comeback kid. This guy has made some of the greatest comebacks we've seen in StarCraft 1. He's managed to bust through Terran players in their positions when they've looked absolutely unbeatable, but he still somehow manages to make it happen. He does, for a few times now, he has seemed to choke at the most important moments, but is history going to repeat itself, or will he finally break that cycle? Can't wait to see it.
I mean, after being 2-0 down at the start of the series and pulling it back with 3 wins in a row, I really do feel like he's gotten that mental game in check a lot more. And he's actually making Light being the one that's tilting a little bit, which is really crazy. Light almost never tilts. So I would say that Best is really improving as a player overall, not just in terms of his skill, but in terms of his caliber of composure and ability to remain calm under pressure. It's going to be so important for him to break through to that final spot and hold his own against someone like Solky. I do favor Best beating Solky over someone like Snow. Would love to see it. Can you imagine if Best is the guy that dismantles Solky as a hero? We're going to be going crazy.
No, that would be insanely hype. Absolutely insane, but still a long way to go here. This final game could be very difficult to get off of a player like Light. He's definitely going to be putting himself back together. I do agree with you, though, Xun. He looked pretty darn tilted. In fact, physically tilted over in his chair at the end of that last game. I hope he's mentally able to put it together here and give us a good show in game number 6. We've got Gateway. Not going to be putting on a whole lot of pressure here just yet, but leaving the option open. Light has his first Marine out. It looks like we're going to have another quick Nexus from Best. It is just such a big map. We've got plenty of space to work with.
Right. Especially on these vertical spawns. Cross map is 38 seconds, and vertical is not too much slower than that. So yeah, if it was horizontal spawns, you might be seeing a little bit of a different way of navigating this game from Best, but I imagine it's going to be some kind of like 23 Nexus or something like that, potentially going for range. Just have to see if he wants to start that range early or not. He might be a little bit skeptical about what could come out from Light. It was a 231 factory, so 2 seconds slower than the 229 most optimized timing possible. But that's still fast enough to maybe put on a lot of pressure with like a strong FD push or something. So we'll have to see if Best wants to be a lot more safer. I think he will want to get that range before taking that Nexus and play super safe this game, just to make sure there's no possibility of Light doing a 2 factory or a strong FD push to really punish him.
Definitely tempting in a position like this to play extremely safe. Light gonna forego the bunker for now. He even gets this probe at the periphery. Zealot plus Dragoon is a little scary. The bunker now actually needs to be started. I'm gonna pull 2 SCVs to try and block this. This is a bit frightening. Frightening for Light.
Yeah.
We will have probably an SCV or 2 go down. That bunker is Still not quite finished here. Dragoon getting some good damage. Zealot not going to commit in unless Light kind of overcommits to holding this. The Vulture does slip around the side. Not even going to send that in. Kind of a scary moment there, but not really any serious damage done to Light.
He's going for DT, Saiyan. This could be crazy. I mean, the Vulture will take a lot of shots in trying to get into that main base, but there is a probe to block the ramp. Can this Vulture actually get in and scout? There's more probes that are being pulled off the line to try and stop that from occurring. They are going to get the shutdown on that Vulture. It will not get in and scout. This is going to be a fast DT play here from Best. If somehow these DT play is successful, it's going to be nuts, and it might actually be a DT drop into the main base. So even if Light does get mines or a turret set up in this natural, the DTs could still get a lot done.
I was talking about this earlier, Xun. He does like to play DT sometimes. He mixes it in.
Yeah.
It's finally time here on Radion. Up one map. Best feeling confident that he can get a win here with a DT drop. He's got to do some damage with this. It's not a not one of those plays where it's just an opener that can lead you into a nice spot. If you don't deal damage with this, you're going to be in a rough position, and Light is pushing out with these early tanks. Of course, Tank Marine not going to handle a DT very well, but he'll at least find out that this is coming most likely.
He might be able to sniff this out because he's going to see that there's not quite as many Dragoons as there should be. Like, there's going to be a third Dragoon popping out. Oh, he's not going to commit to it. Oh, it's unfortunate for Light. If he had committed to that and saw the late timing on the Dragoon, he might have been able to figure out that this was a DT play. But the fact that he returned too soon, I don't know, man. This might be problematic for Light. He's not going to be able to have any chance at sniffing this out now, I don't think. He has got his one tank moving into the main base like he's expecting some kind of shuttle play, like a fast Reaver. But is he suspecting the DTs? He has got two scanners to work with, but if he doesn't kill the DTs with those first two... Oh, he scans the DTs just as they load up into the shuttle. But now that means that he's got one more DT to work with. Engineering Bay is halfway done. He's killing his own scan so he can make another one and get a faster scan. That's a good play from Light to try and get a faster scan timing to work with. He needs every juice in the orange to make this work and make sure there's a very minimal amount of damage done with these DTs.
Very smart play there from Light, exactly what we expect from him. That's actually drops one DT out, and he's going to send it to the front. So he's going to distract with this in the main base, and then he's going to send everything else up to the front, try to kill this turret, try to just get as much damage going in this front as he can with the Dragoons coming in here as well. It could really start to pull Light apart, picking up and dropping over and over again, keeping this shuttle out of the way. I'm really surprised he doesn't send these Dragoons in to start killing some of these SCVs. He's done such a good job of pulling Light to and fro.
Yeah, he's just going to mainly rely on these DTs and try and force out the scans and then run the DT to try and keep it alive. That scan should definitely kill that DT, as we see there. Yeah, it was a little bit maybe of a misplay to not try and get at least one or two SCV kills with those Dragoons, but has another DT now as a follow-up. There's no turrets in the natural expansion. This DT is going to fall to that final scan of Light. Oh, he's got one more scan in the main base, actually. So, yeah, definitely going to be feeling fine about this. Has one more scan waiting for this other DT in the shuttle if it does come back into the base. So far, so good for Light. It wasn't the worst case scenario for Best either, though. He's just going to kill his own Marine there to optimize his timing so he can keep squeezing out a couple of units here. It's kind of an interesting situation we have on our hands because this DT drop wasn't necessarily successful, but it was good enough that the game state will go on, so we probably will see a pretty good game on our hands despite the fact that this DT didn't just do a lot of damage.
I'm curious where Best wants to go with this. Is he going to just immediately switch into Templar, get really early Storm out here? Does he want to go into Arbiter? Really does seem like he wants to stick with his guns, go into a bunch of shuttles and get early Storm, try to fight whatever two base timing is coming out of Light. You can see Light kind of leaving a few units back at home. He's sending quite a bit across the map here, but there's an opportunity. Oh gosh, Best, wait, Dragoon going in for free. He does not have many units here. Uh-oh, I think Best might have just botched it. He did. Oh boy.
Oh no. Saying, yeah, this is rough. I don't think he can hold this off anymore. I think Light's going to be able to get all the way down to the 6 o'clock base and put a lot of pressure on to Best. I don't know about this, guys. Losing a couple of Dragoons for free like that is going to make it so much harder to deal with this tank. But what is Best doing?
Hello?
Like, why is he throwing the game so hard? I don't understand what's going on with his mental right now that he's making these mistakes.
This DT is just going to walk out and die as well. And there's a scan from Light. Best. I mean, I talked him up a little bit with these DT plays, but he really is falling kind of short here.
Yeah, that was some shocking throws, honestly, guys. I don't even know what to say about that. I definitely can't defend that behavior. Some bad rally points and not keeping an eye on things. Best starting to fall apart a little bit. Maybe not doing enough damage with the DT drop, and now he's kind of lost his mojo in this game of having any chance at coming back. I thought he had a much more playable game state than this, but throwing away units for free like that means it's almost impossible to get on top of this entrenched tank position. He might even be GGing out here in a few moments because I don't... Oh, can he get a Mind Drag? Does kill 2 of those tanks with Mind Drag. If he can kill 1 or 2 more of these tanks, that would be huge, but it doesn't look like that's going to transpire. Speed setups are now finally finished. There's also a DT coming down, but a turret has been made on either side of these units to flank these and keep them protected, so the pressure is still on for Best. If only he didn't throw away those units for free, he probably could have held this attack.
Yeah, I think so, and pretty good there by Light, targeting down his own mines, just make sure that none of these can connect, and GG is called. Oh my goodness, Best. No, really? Not like this.
That's
I wanted
crazy.
to see Light make this into a game 7, but not like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is brutal. And this final map is a little bit more Terran favored than we would like it to be, to think that Best is going to easily get through to that finals anymore. After falling apart with that play, does kind of make me feel a little bit shaky about his chances. He's still got one final chance at making that happen. There's Mr. YMCA himself. He'll probably have not necessarily the most similar expression when he does win, if he does win, purely because of the fact that this hasn't really gone his way in this series. Light has fallen apart a little bit himself, both physically and psychologically. Did have a really strong showing in this game, handled that DT drop really perfectly, but I don't know, Best just looks so shaky after that DT drop play. Look at how many Dragoons that are just falling for free, more or less, here. It's kind of insane to think about. You already lost like 1 or 2 Dragoons for free, and now he makes a few more mistakes. Another Dragoon's going to come up here a little bit later and die as well. I don't know, man. I mean, this is just so problematic for Best. If he makes mistakes like that against a caliber of player like Light, it's not going to go his way. It was a DT opening, to be fair. Like, Best isn't the greatest with DT opening, so I'll maybe chalk that up to a bit of shakiness after not really playing into his forte. Would have been ideal if he could secure some more damage with that DT play and then didn't make any botched efforts with his Dragoons to follow that up. Light, though, with that mistakes from Best, easily going to be capitalizing on getting right in Best's face at that rally point location, spread his tank, start building turrets, and once those turrets are online, there's almost no hope of you breaking out and crushing this attack anymore.
Yeah, it's a very nice position that Light set up, bringing the SCVs along as well. Very good idea from him. And he's got all the stuff that he needs. That was a great mine connection there. Almost able to break this, but guys, if you just kept some of those units alive, if you just not rallied forward outside, he almost actually broke that as well. It's so crazy how close that was.
Yeah.
Even with all the mistakes made by Best, he still almost got out of there.
I think maybe even Light knows that he got lucky there, and he probably wouldn't have so easily dispatched Best had those mistakes not transpired, and he got those free Dragoon kills. The final map is going to be Metropolis, guys. One of those newer maps we've got, massive main bases, kind of boot-shaped, so we could be seeing some kind of craziness here. Overall, though, it is a pretty Terran-sided map at the pro level, so Light is going to be liking his chances going forward.
I'll pull you guys up again. Say hi to YouTube, everybody, in the soup chat. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. We're going to go into the last game of the night. Crazy that we've gotten all the way here.
Yeah.
Love to see it, though.
And if you guys are watching... If you guys are watching on YouTube, we're currently casting live. That's why you see the chat here over at superlive.com/SCTV EN. It's all popping off in the chat, as you can see. These guys love this game just as much as we do. And we're very lucky to be here bringing you these games today, saying I'm so stoked that we get to cast ASL.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. These casts go up onto YouTube a few hours after we get done casting on Soup Live. So you can check that out if you missed any of the action here today, guys. If you're just joining in on the Soup chat, you could check that out on YouTube a little bit later. But just being here live, there's no substitute for being there live, guys. Also going in studio, I mean, that's a whole nother story. If you can make it over there, definitely do that. Make it happen, guys. We're going to take a short break. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm just happy we've got a game number 7 coming up, but don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to be going through to a few-minute break here. Go use the bathroom, grab some popcorn, beer, whatever is your poison, whatever assists you in enjoying this televisual feast. Go quickly, because you've got 3 minutes to go and get back and join us in game number 7. It's going to be Metropolis. We'll see you in a few minutes, guys.
It's time for the final game between Best and Light. Game 7, guys. Only one of these two amazing players will get to make their way into that finals. Will it be Light here on screen now? The daddy Terran, the guy we look up to. Any Terran player out there knows and respects this man for the long history of innovation and creation he has brought to the Terran scene. Best over here on the left-hand side of our stage. This guy is a huge fan favorite for his play style, and his fundamentals are amazing, but only one can make it through.
Only one can make it through, saying we're about to go through to our final match of the evening. It's going to be Light versus Best. 3-3 currently, these guys. I'm just blown away. We're jumping right into the final decider match. ASL Season 19, Round of 4, Best versus Light. And the map, Metropolis. Let's get it, guys.
Best. Spawning bottom left. Light. Top left on Metropolis. Our final game, guys. Game number 7. Oh, it's sad to see it end. It's a bittersweet pill, but I'm so glad we got here.
It's gonna be unfortunate if Best can't make it through to that final spot. I would be so hyped for him if he could get that finals, regardless of who is against, either Snow or Sulky, that's being played tomorrow. But it's been such a great ride, saying we're getting game number 7. This is what we wanted. We wanted to go the distance, see just as many great games from these two guys as possible.
We've had some upsetting matches. We've had some fantastic matches so far. Best coming off of one of those sad finishes, falling apart there in that last game. Do you think he's going to be able to pull it together here, Xun? Do you think we're going to see another choke from Best? I would hate to see it, man. I would absolutely hate to see it.
I'm going to chalk that last game up to just the fact that he opened DTs, and he's not always, you know, pun intended, the best with DTs. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I hope that he can give us a really, truly epic final game no matter what happens. I really do hope he doesn't choke. I almost don't mind if Light wins. It's just that I don't want Best to choke. I want to see a real slugfest between these both guys. I want it to go to like a 20-30 minute game, you know what I'm saying?
I would love to see that. Metropolis is such a fun map, Xun. There's so much stuff that can happen here. We haven't seen a whole ton of PvT on this map so far, but we've seen little snippets, and we know that it can get pretty wild.
Yeah, and I mean, these main bases are huge, guys. They're kind of boot-shaped. If you take a look on the mini-map, it does favor someone like Light going for that vulture drop style that he's so adept at. We'll have to see if he wants to pull the trigger on that yet again. He has done it quite a lot this series, and honestly, Best has responded to that quite well. And look at this chase micro from Best, maintaining the trajectory needed to keep up with it. Light's doing his best job to try and go left and right with some jukes, but look at Best. He's going to be maybe catching this. Oh, it's so close. With good manual control, you will be able to create distance and eventually get away. You have to do a lot of manual move commands of your own to stay locked in on that hex grid and intercepting that SCV. Running up to that high ground at the 3 o'clock to make sure the probe isn't following before going out yet again. And Marine is out on the map and caught out of position by this Zealot as well. He will be able to get inside the main base and be a little bit annoying here to Light.
Ooh, the probe gonna come up from the flank. Getting the probe in there is actually a big deal as well. That probe can stand on one side of this wall and it deals some damage to that Marine. Oh, he gets the first SCV. That's huge. First SCV on that factory, slowing it down a little bit. Of course, Light gets that back onto producing the factory as soon as possible. But the second Zealot's coming in now. There's only 3 Marines here. Oh, he just barely gets up that ramp in time. It's a very tight ramp. Almost got caught there on the mineral patch, but he does manage to slip past. Loses 1 Marine so far. Both the Zealots are still alive. They're going to start to regen some of those shields. Not too bad from Best so far. Getting some good damage there. 1 SCV 1 Marine, and no kills for Light. This is pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good opening for Best. He kind of lucked out a little bit with that SCV jumping to the bottom as well. More of an Artosis SCV than a Flash SCV. Does help him out in this early game when all said and done. Vulture will struggle to keep up with these Zealots. They should just barely get back to the safety of this Dragoon in time like we see here. Really well-timed pull from Best. Like trying to capitalize still and get as many fragmentation grenade shots on those before they finally get back to the safety of the ramp. So far, so good for Best, but there is going to be that crazy 2-factory play as a follow-up from him, hoping to blindside our Protoss player.
Oh, this 2-factory play is going to be crazy. Robo on the way. Is he going to add more gateways? He needs to find out about this as soon as possible. This is going to be a really strong attack from Light. Can't believe he's gambling it all on this. A 2-factory play here, game number 7. Could you believe it, Xun?
It's going to... I mean, I can believe it saying, because I'm looking at it. It's absolutely insane, though, but it's going to be a different variation of 2-factory. He's going to go up to like 3 tanks right off the bat, rather than making vultures a lot like he did in that last game. So he's going to rely less on mines and more just having a meaty push here, like going all the way up into 3 tanks right off the bat. It's going to be 3 gateway robo from Best. So he is doing the safest build possible as a follow-up to this, but the gateways are slightly slow by rushing into that robo. He might even need to make a shield battery in the natural to guarantee holding this. If he does somehow sniff out this 3 tank push from Light, he will be able to defend this with some good execution and micro. Light could just be losing right now if this botched attack does occur.
This is perfect for Best. The 3 gateway play is absolutely what he needs. Can Light still get in here though with this? Can he still deal the damage that he needs to do? Can he still get a win straight up against this? It'll rely on Best making some mistakes. He needs to, you know, cut Dragoons or just make mistakes in his control. He sees it coming now. He knows. 100% he knows. He's still got those 2 Zealots from the beginning. Dude, this is going to be such a hard push for Light. Going to pull the probes immediately, sending them out to start to body block, get on top of all this stuff. The Dragoons are firing away, and the probes are just getting right in here on the front. This is a great hold from Best. He's going to kill this tank immediately. He's getting right in on top of this stuff. The second tank goes down. Vultures are falling. There's 1 mine connection there, but he's not going to get the miracle mine connections he got game number 1. This time, Best is ready for this, and he is going to be able to take out this attack.
I'm getting nerd chills saying my synapses are firing. I'm getting lots of serotonin right now. Light is in disarray. Hands off the keyboard. He knows it. GG is called. And Light has been defeated by Best in the semi-finals. He's going through to the finals. For the first time, he stands up. He pumps his fists. Rightfully so. What a deserved win from Best. Wow. The ape man himself is going through to the finals, saying...
Like, he did it. He cracked. He went for a 2-factory play game number 7. I can't believe it, guys. Oh my goodness. Even though it worked in game number 1, it was not solid. Everybody knows 2-fact is not in the meta anymore. He goes up, signs his name here on the screen, on the camera, as is tradition here in the ASL. Dude, Best has made it to the finals.
I'm so stoked for Best, saying this is crazy. The fans can't believe it as well. They're going nuts in the crowd, rightfully so. What a well-deserved win. And we did go all the way to that 7th match for a 4-3 victory. It's going to be Best in the finals against either Sulky or Snow, which is coming up next tomorrow, guys, in our final semi-finals match. I'm so happy for Best. The Ape man has done it. It turns out that Ape beats AI, saying a lot of people were scared about the new introduction of AI and how fast technology is ramping up. Turns out just corded muscle in this Ape is more than enough to defeat the machine that is Light.
The pro poll here was insanely good. He knew exactly what he had to do to save this game. All hands on deck. Best pulls everything to the front, and Light just cannot push through. There it is. The moment he sees it, he knows that he's got the build order win here with the 3 gates, and those 2 Zods are just icing on the cake. They're going to buy so much time, take so much damage here at the front. Going to run forward there with all the probes, just gunning down everything. There was no hope here for Light. As soon as the build was revealed here, Best had the exact counter. Dude. I'm so happy for Best right now. I can't even contain myself. This guy has worked so hard. He's done so well for so long, and he's finally put it together.
I mean, I'm so stoked for him. This guy's been around for such a long time in the scene, saying he's always been a pretty strong contender back in the day, even around the era where Jangbi was storming Terrans out left, right, and center. Look how stoked the fans are. This is a really great showing for him. He's taking center stage right now, looking up at his name with the title ASL Season 19 First Finalist. What a time to be alive. Let's hear some words from him just for a second. I don't care if I can't speak Korean.
Looking fantastic on stage right now. A beautiful ASL jacket. If you ever wanted to own one of those guys, your opportunity is now. We're doing a giveaway. 2 ASL jackets are up for grabs. If you want to get your hands on one of those, gifting 50 gems or 1 gifted sub will give you an entry into that giveaway. And you will have a chance to take one of those home automatically. Just head over to Soup Live SCTV EN channel. Watch ASL live, Soup Duel Series live, or any of the other things we do live here on the channel, guys. And you can have that possibility. You can have that chance. Not a lot of people have that opportunity, guys. It's very hard to get your hands on these jackets, but we've got 2 of them to give away, so we're very excited for that. Dude, Best is looking emotional right now on the stage.
He should be. Rightfully so, saying like this is a big time for him. It's such a big deal. If you haven't yet gotten through to the finals in ASL, you're so hungry for it. It's one of the things that keeps these guys motivated to just pouring their heart into the game. Players like Light have been there quite a few times already, so it's not as big of an emotional deal for them. But players like Snow or players like Best, who haven't really had a strong showing deep into tournaments, especially players like Scan on the lower tier, who really want to try and get that glory that these other players have been able to taste before them. It must be so sweet now for Best to finally bite into that fruit and just feel the fruits of his labor reverberating through his body. You can see how emotional he is, and he should be. I mean, this is a big deal for him. He's worked so damn hard, and he plays a very straight up fundamental style. He's not one of those Protoss players that relies on a lot of gimmicks to get wins either. He deserves it, Saiyan.
He absolutely does, guys. Look at the outpouring of emotion here as he thanks his fans and his practice partners, his family and friends for supporting him. It really is a team effort. Can't do it alone. You've got to have those practice partners and those friends that keep pushing you and giving you the advice that you need to get to this level, this extreme level of excellence that is the ASL finals. It's extremely impressive, and we're super happy for him.
Oh, Saiyan, I'm so glad that we are the guys that are bringing you the cast that actually covers his entry into the finals at long last. I'm so stoked for this guy. I couldn't have hoped for a better guy to make it through to the finals as the first finalist, no less. This is really impressive stuff. History is in the making. People are on their phones quickly putting out the message and checking social media because they know just how much of a big deal this is, and it is going to blow up in the news very quickly. You better be watching this live, or you're going to very quickly get spoiled.
We hope not, but it is that is the way that it goes. Just avoid watching any screens if you're not able to watch on the 25th that ASL finals, guys. It's going to be at 2 p.m. Korean Standard Time. Don't miss out on that live cast. It is going to be extremely hype. It'll either be Snow or Soul Key going up against Best.
Man, I'm just so happy for this guy. I mean, no one in this whole tournament probably deserves it more than him. I'm just going to say that now. I'm a Zerg player saying that. I absolutely adore this guy as a Zerg, and I can't really say enough how much he deserves it after all the hard work and effort he's put in over the years since the Kesper era. What a guy, man. I'm so stoked for him getting through that finals. It's going to be him versus either Sulky or Snow. That's the match. That's tomorrow, guys. Do not miss it. If you're watching this belatedly on YouTube, once more, we are casting this live on superlive.com/SCTVEN. Please don't miss out on tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, that is going to be an amazing match. So much history between those two. So many finals and semifinals that have gone back and forth between those two players. Mostly Sulky on the winning side, but Snow has been making huge leaps and strides in his PvZ. He's one of those players who's also been extremely hungry for an ASL finals or an ASL victory. Excuse me. He's been in so many finals, guys. Kind of the king of silver right now. He is one of those other favored players for so many of us out here. It would be amazing to have a PvP finals. I'm not even a fan of PvP. Like, PvP is fine. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I would be extremely happy to cast Snow versus Best, because that would mean a brand new ASL finalist either way, and a Protoss as well, which we haven't had for a while.
That's what we need. We need a Protoss to finally take down a title. I know you guys in the chat and in the comments down below would be doing mental backflips from a Protoss being able to finally get down a title and really just represent properly. And I think Best or Snow are definitely the two contenders that can make it happen. They've both come a long way in improving their versus Zerg matchup. And personally, as a caster, I've been enjoying Protoss versus Protoss a lot more than historically speaking. I definitely don't understand it fully, but the more I cast it and the more games we see, I am starting to slowly fall in love with the matchup ever so slightly, saying there's a little bit more depth to it than I originally gave it credit for. And some of these guys really do know how to outthink each other in it.
We had a very fun time casting Snow versus Rain. He's able to beat Rain, guys. That's going to be a tough matchup for Best then. I would definitely favor Rain over Best, but if Snow's able to take him down, what does that say about the finals? If it does come to that PvP, still, Snow has a huge hurdle to get over. The three-time ASL winner in a row, Sulky is his opponent.
Going to be crazy, saying I give that probably somewhere between a 20 and a 30% chance of Snow being able to finally get through that hurdle, making it into the finals and overcoming Sulky. Going to be a really hard time either way. Sulky's just that good, guys, like kind of like an impenetrable wall. As long as they can keep their mental game in check, they will stand a fair chance at making it happen. But Snow needs to just not tilt no matter what happens in that series. Some frustrating stuff is definitely going to happen. Some mind games from Sulky will definitely annoy him. If he keeps his calm and doesn't get tilted too much, I still give him like a 20-25% chance at least in that matchup. It's going to be a hard time for him no matter what, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is definitely going to be a rough ride, but I mean, it's been tough no matter how you slice it. Like, going up against Light is no easy match, and you can see how much he's struggled here today. Just making it through in this best of 7, it was tough. If Light had taken him to a long game, who knows what could have happened in that game 7, man. There's a chance that we could be seeing Light, going through to the finals, but for whatever reason, he decided to go for that 2-factory play again, and it just did not work out. The perfect defense from Best, going directly into that 3 gateway play. I'm so happy that we got to see that. We get to see Best in the finals, man.
One thing I didn't point out yet was that what I really liked from Best was he had a Dragoon over on the ramp at his third base location, even though he had no intention of throwing a Nexus down for quite some time. It would have been at least a minute before he had the minerals to go over there and build a Nexus. So it kind of faked out Light a little bit into being even more cocky with that push, thinking, oh, Best is probably on like 2 gateways right now, trying to take a slightly greedy third timing. I can definitely push in here before mines are finished. But that wasn't the case. Best was ready for him, so So mine's finished up just slightly too late for them to be valuable enough in helping him in those trades, and the pro pool was just too strong as a result.
Well, guys, we've come to the end. I just want to give you guys a reminder. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. Korean Standard Time, SolKey versus Snow. And then we're going to have that finals on the 25th, the Sunday of May. And that'll be at 2 p.m. Korean Standard Time. Also, if you want to enter, you have to donate before the 26th. You got to donate on that last stream on the 25th. 50 gems or 1 gifted sub will give you a entry ticket, and you can get as many entries as you want. So 100 gems is 2 entries, 400 gems or 200 gems is 4 entries, guys. And just for reference, 200 gems is about $20. 1 gifted sub is about $5. So go wild, guys. Please help us out. We'll be really appreciating all of those donations, and hoping that one of you guys is going to receive that prize. Well, one of you is going to receive that prize. In fact, 2 of you will. 2 ASL jackets. I hope it goes to someone deserving who really appreciates it and who will cherish it, because that's what I would do if I got it. I'm kind of jealous that I don't get to I don't get to participate, but it is what it is.
Same. And even if it is too small for you guys to wear, if you're a bigger guy like me, you can hang it on your wall and treat it like a trophy. I mean, it's going to be so spectacular. So many people used to do that back in the day, just getting these like pro gamer merchandise and then hanging it up on the wall to display. Is definitely a good way of utilizing it, regardless of you if you intend to wear it out or not. And if you do just hang it up and display it, it's going to stay in better condition and last you many years to come. And you'll be able to memorialize this great ASL season we've been able to have.
Yeah, if one of you guys gets it, please bring it to an ASL. Bring it to an ASL live and like hold it up in the crowd or something like that. I'd love to see that. That would be amazing. Or wear it to the ASL live. That would be even better. Get some signatures from some of the greatest players on Earth. Guys, we are at the end of our broadcast. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, guys.
Night.
I've been Xun, with me Saiyan SC. Don't miss it out on tomorrow. Once more for you YouTube guys, superlive.com/SCTV EN. It's going to all pop off tomorrow. Snow versus SolKey. We'll see you there. Thanks, guys.